This is the city, Tokyo, Japan. I work here. I'm a cop. I carry a badge, and I protect law and order. Before we can begin this investigation, there are some rules that need to be made clear. Warning. The Dub Talk podcast department may contain language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. There will be spoilers for the entirety of Millionaire Detective, Balance Unlimited, so do not continue forward if you do not wish to be privy to the entire story. And legally speaking, the views and opinions expressed are those of the individual participants and do not reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, the podcast you are about to listen to is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Justice will be upheld. My pride as a detective, my role as an heir to the Kame family, and of course, my vast fortune are on the line. Let us commence the investigation. Balance Unlimited.
Bitch up.
Greetings, fellow detectives, and welcome to Dub Talk, the podcast where we investigate the latest and greatest in English dubs. My name is Inspector Stephanie, and I'm joined tonight by my partners, Inspector Jett.
Yeah.
Inspector Gigi.
I've come to the shocking conclusion that it's still the Andrew is over party.
Speaking of, we also have Inspector Andrew.
Well, that's no fair. I was chewing. You can't cancel me when I'm eating. Why
are you eating?
I'm sorry. Look, there were just so many exotic snacks I had to bring, and there were some really good ones, like some strange mystical gummies that are supposed to bring good luck. I'm told it's very helpful for when you're trying to solve a moida. I think that's how it's spelled. Moida.
Moida. Gigi, how many times does this make Andrew canceled?
At least 6, I think, by now.
4 more times, and I got a free Sunday.
God damn it. Oh, shit. Tonight, we detectives will tackle some rather outlandish mysteries and stop crime dead in its tracks. We're here to discuss the 2020 Aniplex Funimation dub for The Millionaire Detective, Balance Unlimited. If you've yet to read the case file for today, here is a quick summary. Daisuke Kame, a detective with an extreme amount of personal wealth, is assigned to the Modern Crimes Unit, a place where officers who have caused problems for the Metropolitan Police Department are sent. There, Daisuke is partnered with Harukato, who is repulsed by Daisuke's bribery. Challenging mysteries unfold in front of the two detectives, who must work together to solve them. But they may have bitten off more than they can chew when a cold case and a family's past begins to resurface. Oh, Lord. AKA... AKA, what is this? Law and Order pay off everything unit. I don't fucking know.
Back to this for a second. So before we even get into this here, can I just say,
yes,
this title was a lie.
The fact.
Which lie is this? What lie is this?
Okay, like I get they do. Okay, I get they would want to call The Millionaire Detective Balance Unlimited because that sounds kind of weird, but like he is definitely richer than a millionaire.
He is. Yes. He is stupidly rich. Like
he's so fucking.
Like out of curiosity, because I hadn't checked in a while, I decided to look up look up. Okay, so how would you convert yen to U.S. dollars these days?
Oh God!
Yeah.
Which case?
Which
case?
$1 per 100 yen.
Did you wait? Because fun fact before you go further with this, Jett. So at the end of every episode, it shows a breakdown of how much fucking money that Daisuke spends doing all this crazy shit. Don't tell me you added all of it together and converted it to U.S. dollars.
Okay, no, I did not all of it. I just went okay, so every 1,000 yen is $9.50 roughly. And there's some episodes where he spends upwards of 400 million yen, which would be somewhere around a couple of mil. So by that alone, it's okay, he definitely has to be richer than a millionaire.
Oh, probably.
Probably.
Look, I was promised a daddy, That's why I was in. I was supposed to have Juman Han giving me that money while I'm sipping that tea in the back of a limo. And I will tell you that those Twitter memes lied to me. I did not get my
he's
daddy.
still a sugar daddy, all right?
I
Kame
did
is still a
not
fucking
get
sugar
my
daddy.
daddy.
I mean, it was very true for like the first few episodes, and I guess we'll get to that later.
We'll get into this, but
we'll get to that later.
I'll say this. I think the best episode is the one where he spends like no money.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is the best episode.
That is the fucking best. Okay. Before we go too far into this, let's at least get the rest of my spiel going, and we'll actually talk about the show and everything. So, as always, we'll be tackling this case from start to finish, discussing the cast, crew, and performances of this very, very important mystery. I couldn't have asked for a better team to solve this mystery with me, as it's been 3 fucking years since the Dub Talk Detective Squad cracked its first caper with Gosick, if you can believe it. And admittedly, there's actually 2 reasons why I requested your assistance on the matter. One of which actually pertains to our ADR Director, so we may as well just jump into that. We have our ADR staff. We have an ADR director. There is 1 assistant director for an episode, and we have 2 writers, a main writer and 1 writer who helped with 3 episodes. Oh boy. So I'm going to work backwards on this one. I'll start with our script writers. So for our script writers, our main writer for the series is Jeremy Kratz, and our secondary writer who wrote for episodes 3, 4, and episode 10 is Madeline Morris. Jeremy Kratz has written for other series such as My Hero Academia, the current reboot of Fruits Basket, and Saga of Tanya the Evil. Meanwhile, Madeline Morris has written for series such as Stand My Heroes, Pieces of Truth, Nekopara, and Assault Lily Bouquet is, I think, one of the latest ones that she has been attached to. As for our assistant director, specifically for episode 4, we have Kristin Mcguire, who has also been an assistant director for series such as Anime Guitarist, Kono Ototomare, and Smile Down the Runway. I also want to make this very clear that here's the challenging part with this show in particular. 100% of the cast and staffing was not confirmed prior to this episode, and both Kristin and Madeline had to confirm their assistants through Twitter. And the only one that converted that to the normal channels like Anime News Network was Madeline for episodes 3 and 4, but she also confirmed she did episode 10 as well. And now one of the reasons why we're fucking here. Team Gosick is back in the building. Our ADR director is one Mr. Clifford Chapin, who has directed series such as the aforementioned Gosick, Dr. Stone, and New Game. So, to start this off, Jett, why don't you tell us your thoughts on the directing and writing of the dub?
It's a Clifford Chapin dub. I mean, it's pretty much what you would expect from him. Like, the narrative was pretty smooth for the most part. I thought it sounded pretty consistent throughout. I didn't think that any, one performance in particular really stood out, but it was definitely pretty consistent across the board. Definitely not among his best work, but it was perfectly fine. I definitely didn't have any problem with how it was directed for the most part. Script-wise, it was pretty solid too. I thought there was a pretty good amount of banter between Haru and Kanbei, which definitely felt appropriate, and I thought added the right amount of spice to the show. I mean, it's not like Tiger and Buddy levels of banter, but it was definitely pretty fun. I also thought the translation was pretty on point. Nothing really stood out as particularly weird, which I appreciate. If there were any negatives I'd have to give, it's that there were a couple of times throughout the show where they had characters from, I guess, other countries, and they were doing accents, and the accents sounded really weird. So almost like you could tell they were trying to do an accent, but it barely came off, and it was just kind of weird. It felt sort of haphazard in a sense. I don't know if it was just maybe they didn't have enough time to really get it done back or something, but it just came off as kind of weird to me.
Another thing I'll at least say in defense is that they weren't really working with real countries in the show for some fucking reason. I think like I remember the one particular accent you had an issue with was like an assassin from Polydor, which was basically
Yes. Which is some weird amalgamation.
Okay, I mean, like, okay, so you don't know what kind of accent you're doing. Okay, that's fine, but like, okay, it's the fact that like, okay, if you're gonna do an accent at all, I prefer you like keep it consistent. But it felt like it just kept going back and forth, and it just kind of felt a little distracting.
Okay.
That's fair.
Because to talk about that assassin in particular, unfortunately, we have no confirmation as of who voices this character.
I know who it is.
We all know who it is, but we don't.
It's pretty clear who it is, but...
It's pretty clear who it is, but we want to make sure the confirmation is officially there before we 100% throw out the fact that it's probably Ian Sinclair.
Stephanie. That's clearly just evil robot Mad Mickelson.
Listen, I didn't confirm this one because we're not talking about this character anyway.
I don't care. I know it's him in my heart, and if it's not him in my heart, fuck y'all.
Gigi, do you want to be railed by his railgun?
Oh my god!
No. That's weird.
That seems like it'd probably be very unsanitary.
Oh no.
Look, it's COVID times. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Like, that's where his elbows are. Like, you know how many surfaces?
Jesus Christ.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
He's mad because I made a really inappropriate joke before we started recording at his expense.
You know what? We're gonna bring that inappropriate joke back. Hey, Andrew, why don't you go deal with some snowballs outside, right?
Fuck off, Steph. Fuck off.
Check.
I just learned what the Urban Dictionary for snowball was tonight before we recorded, and now it's like, fuck all y'all.
You did it to yourself. Anyway, any other thoughts, Jett?
No, I'm basically done.
Okay. Gigi, why don't you hop on next and give us your thoughts?
Oh, it's always me. It's always me. Well, I literally went into
It's not always you. You didn't go first.
I don't know. I'm just saying, it's always me. I went into this thinking, who's going to be the daddy? I really thought this was going to be Juman Han the anime.
I just took a drink of coffee.
I was really excited for it. I wanted my red ribbon and my weird shoes that have like the bomb timers on the back. If you've played Mystic Messenger, y'all know what I'm talking about, and you're the same way I am. Juman Han, not the best, but you know, the worst. Anyway, so I went into this looking for who's the best daddy, and I got who's the best dad. Because this anime is full of men who could be dads, and very little wacky, which I was like, okay, like it is not what I thought it was going to be. It had a lot of outrageous plot stuff, and honestly, without the outrageous plot stuff, that would have cost a lot of money to do in CGI in a live action show. Like, this could have been done live action, and I would have had no problem with it. But for the directing and the writing standpoint, I mean, okay, so from what I have seen of the Clifford Chapin shows, this really seems like a typical Cliff show. And I say that with love, but like, it's literally like a lot of the same people he casts all the time, like a lot of the same stuff. Nothing's really off the wall or crazy. Nothing's too out of the box. I will agree with Jett, though, about the questionable accent work, because this is me, and you know I'm going to comment on it. It was all very questionable, and I don't care that the country's fake. Like, if you're going to mesh two accents together, do what Tada Never Falls in Love did, and, like, come up with a good, believable accent, because these were just weird. But thank you for evil Ian Sinclair, crazy Victor Nikiforov. I appreciated that.
Unconfirmed Ian Sinclair.
I don't care. Thanks for that. As for the writing, it was a nice mix of drama and buddy cop show, and it served pretty true and pretty to form. You can't really fuck around a lot with a police procedural. There's not a lot you can mix up with it. Like, sure, you can add a couple of little jokes here and there, but I mean, you have to stick to the plot or nobody's going to know what's going on at the end. Episode 4 was the good episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah, episode 4.
The one where Kame had to survive a day without shit.
Yeah, so good on Kristin for helping out with episode 4, because that was the best episode.
That was my favorite.
It was basically the Odd Couple episode.
Well, that's what this whole show was, to be quite honest with you. Except there were like detectives and money and espionage murder plot involved. But that being said, coming off of Nakaimo last week, this is like my fucking gold treasure box of dubs. Like, this is like Disney fucking Oscar worthy quality. Like, give these people Oscars and Grammys for an original score. Jesus Christ, Emmys. What do you give awards for anime? Not Crunchyroll awards. Those are bullshit.
So what you're saying? So Gigi. So what I'm understanding is pretty good dub, but after Nakaimo, this is like a 10 out of 10.
Oh my god, like a 25 out of 10 compared to Nakaimo. I told you guys in the chat, I was like, thank God you're making me watch this, because I was about to quit anime for life. So
Yes.
I was about to quit Dub Talk after Nakaimo. That $10 I got paid didn't really cut it. Daisuke Kame hooked me up though with like 1,000,000 yen, so we're cool.
Look, Daisuke may not know shit, but he's a sugar daddy, all right?
I'll take his yen. Look, I need a new figure in my life. There's a new fucking Hatsune Miku I want.
Are you good, Gigi?
Oh, I'm good.
Andrew, how about you?
Oh boy, where do I go with that? I will definitely also add that this is a pretty good dub overall. Like, I'd say alongside Jett, Clifford has very much proved himself to be a very strong, consistent director, where even like the weakest project of his, I still think is at least very interesting, very entertaining, and very fun, with a pretty good ensemble cast overall. I'll say that while this one did not blow me away, there's definitely a couple of performances in particular from some veteran actors that I definitely think they get some really good material to work with to show off their stuff. Mm-hmm. As well as a couple of veterans where it's like, you don't get to hear them play this type of character that often or something like that. Mm-hmm. Which, that's pretty fun. I think the script is very good. It does a good job selling the banter that is basically straight-laced, by-the-book guy who's dealing with some trauma, as well as rich, larger-than-life asshole who probably should be distributing this wealth instead of playing Batman.
I'm sorry.
Look, the years.
Kame as a character because he's. Listen, I love Kame as a character because he's extra as fuck, and I get a laugh out of how stupid he is. It's great.
He's very extra as fuck, but the year's 2021. This is the year where we say eat. This is the year where we say eat the rich.
Yeah,
true.
This is the year where we say eat the rich and like screw cops, but like.
See, this is where we say eat the rich and screw cops, but all of you want to fuck both of them when it comes to the show. Y'all didn't get the memo.
See, again, like, I can give this show a pass because it came out. I don't want to say it before time, but I guess that kind of is what that would be now.
Okay.
It's like it's before times and like it's Playboys and after it's like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
So it's a mix of. This show is really weird production wise. So I'm glad you mentioned this because I may as well just throw this out there. So this show originally debuted in the spring of 2020. However, after one episode and the fucking pandemic started up, they delayed it and then they resumed starting with episode 2, I believe, in the summer season.
I think it was 2 episodes and then episode 3.
Whatever it was. It was like 1 or 2 episodes and then they had a jump. And then the dub itself, I double checked to make sure. It started in September, and it seemed at least on a very consistent schedule throughout, which is great.
Like, you could argue there's at least some level of, like, there's some absurdist, like it's pretty absurdist for the most part when it comes to the procedurals, and you're basically dealing with rich person magic. Like, a lot of this is basically rich person magic, but there's a couple of times where it's like, oh, you're an endearing character. Oh, you're kind of Ooh. Yeah.
Whoops.
I looking at you, Cho, playing fucking dirty.
Oh, Cho!
And, like, okay, granted, at least the show was kind of being, like, where they were kind of playing Haru as basically, no, that's kind of fucked up, dude. But he's basically like, yeah, no, I kind of got results. It's a little... I'll say this. I think this is a fun show. It's an interesting show. I think it doesn't quite nail the genre shift of being like a sort of one-off absurdist like episode series, and when it goes to a more grander narrative, it kind of, I think, loses a little bit of steam. That being said,
Can we all agree before you continue? This is more on the show itself, not the dub.
okay.
Yeah.
This show would have been so much better if it was the stupid episodic weekly caper shit, Batman and Robin style. Like, that would have made this so much better.
Like, you could have still done, like, character arcs and, like, developments, but I feel like once it was clear,
but I
like...
feel like I feel like the episodic horseshit and the hijinks and adventures of Kanbei and Kato would have made the show infinitely better.
Like,
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
most of the show
Like-
is basically the Sayuri Kanbei investigation. Like,
Yes, once we reach the second half.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And to be fair, it's not like it's particularly bad or anything, but it's just kind of like, it was, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, I've seen all this before. It's like, okay, yeah,
Right.
sure, fine.
And I think
This is
the
okay.
first half of the show kind of set us up for this like fun buddy cop romp. And then when we got to the second half, it was like, oh, okay. This is where we're going?
I think the show overall was a little more better at being the more kind of absurdist, ridiculous, like...
I mean, I think we're all also in agreement. Our favorite episode is fucking episode 4, where Daisuke can't do fucking shit.
Like, it's literally...
And he has to help Kato find a lost puppy dog.
Like, cause it's really hilarious, cause it's like Haru's kind of been like
Yes.
the butt monkey to a lot of Daisuke's more extreme, like, capers, and then it's suddenly like Haru is the one who's
Yep.
competent, because he understands how to live, and Daisuke's just
Yep.
basically a lost cat.
Daisuke's a fucking cat.
Like, the fact that he's just like, I need help, I've injured myself, bring me first aid now. I don't have a first aid kit, just lick yourself, Christ.
Just lick the wound, it's fine. You'll be fine.
But yeah,
I'm just waiting for Steph to continue on with her thoughts about
Are
the
you
writing
done,
and the
Andrew?
directing.
oh god,
you
sorry,
done?
I went on a tangent.
Sorry.
I went on a tangent.
It's fine. We're going on random rants. It happens.
Anyways, dub script solid.
Okay. So we all know that I very much enjoy Clifford Chapin dubs. This one is no exception. There's the casting is fun, and there's some really enjoyable performances out of it. The attention to detail and character arcs and storylines are there throughout. I also want to give credit to not only him, kind of a bit going back to the accent work a bit. I'm actually going to bring up the first episode for a hot second, because you don't often hear Arabic in an anime. So I have to give both Cliff and Nazi Tarsha, who was...
Oh, was he the prince?
He was the prince in the first episode. I'm going to give both of them credit on this, because he gave like reference tracks and phonetic spellings for everything, so they can try and be as accurate as humanly possible with the prince character and the translator. So there is attention to detail there, and I highly appreciate that. Especially, again, you don't hear Arabic in anime, if at all.
Okay.
So that's a fun and interesting touch. Though some of the other accent work is also very interesting. I don't know if I like it or dislike it. I just went with it. But again, directing wise, I think it's very solid. This is actually the second of 3 Aniplex shows that Cliff has also directed in the span of a year. The first one being Darwin's Game, which, god damn it, that one's stupid, fun garbage. And the dub that Cliff directed on that one was more than it fucking deserves. Sorry. But out of the 3 shows that I've watched him direct this year, I'm not counting The Day I Became a God because that one's not done yet. So the other third one is going to be Smile on the Runway. In terms of solid dubs for really good shows, I think my favorite out of the trio would be Smile Down the Runway. But Millionaire Detective is still stupid fun, and I love it. Writing-wise, both Jeremy and Maddie were so much fun. The writing was consistent throughout. I have to give props to Maddie, though. Because I think some of the episodes that she did had some of my favorite one-liners and zings in there. She wrote episode 4, which is our favorite episode again. So she probably had a blast with that, and also Kristin probably had a blast assistant directing on it. But episode 10, there was a line where Kato realized that Kame he asked him if he was wearing elevator shoes, and I'm like, okay. Nice zingers in there. Yeah, the dialogue between Kame and Kato can be snappy and punchy, like that buddy cop style that we were talking about before, and I very, very much appreciate that. Again, though, as a show in general, the show would have been so much better if it stayed with the whole buddy cop hijinks throughout the whole fucking thing. Because let's face it, the last 5 minutes at the end of episode 11, it's like, this is what I want. I want more of this.
We all know this. However,
Cloverworks, please.
2 things before we move on. I don't even remember the Arabic prince, so I'm glad that accent work is good, because if it were bad, I would have remembered it and said something. So I'm glad that they put a lot of effort into it. And number 2, hey, Cliff, Aniplex, can you do Hype Mic or Skate the Animation next? Thanks.
Oh God, fucking somebody please dub Skate the Affinity.
Wait. I don't hold on. Has Cliff ever directed a sports anime? I don't think he has.
You can check that off your bucket list.
He's tackled several genres like mystery, comedy, fucking shonen with Dr. Stone, sci-fi with Darling in the Franxx. Oh my god. Your next project, do a sports anime.
Okay, see, as much as I want this, realistically, like, both Slime and Dr. Stone have second seasons that are currently out, so
I know, that's
he's going
the
to be on
downside.
one of those two.
He's and there's also he also confirmed today that after episode 10 of Day I Became a God, Caitlin Glass is taking over. So
look, just let somebody be a skater boy.
He's a busy man.
Look, let somebody be a skater boy, okay? Let all of them be good skater boys.
I'd say see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for her. Glad
she
somebody
had a pretty
got
face,
that reference.
but her head was in outer space. I think that's part of the lyrics. It's been a while.
Let's go, fam.
Let's fucking
Can I talk
go.
about my grandma?
Yes.
Does your grandma have red eyes?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, spoiler.
I mean, only on Sundays.
Shit. I miss you, asshole.
What is that like?
Except for Andrew.
What is that
I see
like?
him all the time.
Is that like prayer with passion or something? How's that work?
Fuck.
I mean, I'm not gonna say my joke here because it's real bad.
Look!
Somebody edit that out.
Okay. Anyways, the phrase "Oh God" has a lot of connotations when you say it.
Okay. Are we good?
Love you, Gigi.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make my joke.
I miss you, Gigi, you fucking bitch. I love you. Okay, so right before we move on to our first set of characters, I said this earlier, the entire cast is not 100% confirmed. And I don't know if there's a delay or maybe lack of information being released. which is fine because all things considered, I didn't go too crazy in depth for this. Because Lord Almighty, if I were to suddenly grab, like, one-off characters like Alejandro Saab or fucking an unconfirmed Ian Sinclair or if we went that in depth, I'd go crazy.
I loved Alejandro, and I'm pretty sure his girlfriend was like Amber Lee Connors. Like, that was great.
Yes.
Those two were great. I wish they showed up again.
Or fucking, I think Ryan McKean was in there. I think he was the train kid. Like, we'd be here all night. I'm not going that fucking in depth.
What?
But this first batch of characters, they were previously not confirmed. But I did reach out to Cliff, and he gave me the casting for these particular characters, and at least confirmed 2 of which I already figured, but I wanted to make sure. So we're going to talk about members of the Kame family first. So we have Kikuko Kame, who is the matriarch and Daisuke's grandmother. We have Jiro Hattori, who is the butler who serves the Kame family and has served them for years. And we have Shigemaru Kame, who is Daisuke's father, who is supposedly the one who murdered Daisuke's mom, fucking disappears and commits suicide as part of this whole grand scheme. In the second half of the show, we eventually find out that it was in fact Hattori who killed Daisuke's mom, and Grandma Kame basically is the ringleader of... It's complicated.
Yeah.
Basically, Grandma and Butler did it.
The Butler did it, but unironically.
It's Clue.
I feel like... I figured out most of the mystery as soon as they brought it up, but that was like the one part I didn't foresee.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is this based on a manga or something?
I don't think it is, actually.
I think it's based off a light novel.
From the... specifically a light novel from, like, the 70s. So this is, like, a modern reinterpretation.
Oh, so this is before tropes were tropes.
More or less.
Okay.
All right, I'll forgive the butler did it for that, then.
It was Mr. White in the living room with the knife.
With the candlestick.
No,
I made that joke while watching this.
Anyway, the individuals voicing these characters, to which thank you, Cliff, for confirming these for us so we can discuss them. I'll start with Shigemaru Kame. Shigemaru Kame is voiced by Jeremy Inman, who has voiced characters such as Midi from Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, Akiteru Obi from Fire Force, and Christina Matsuzuki in No Gun's Life. As Hattori, the butler, we have Brian Mathis, who has voiced characters such as Elias Ainsworth from The Ancient Magus Bride, Kongo in Land of the Lustrous, and Captain Juzo Okita from Star Blazers 2199. And as Kikuko Kame, Grandma Kame, this one I had a hard time trying to figure out, and then when Cliff told me, I was like, fuck, how did I not know this? Linda Leonard, who has voiced characters such as Tsubaki in Konohana Kitan, Martha in Maria the Virgin Witch. Why does this say Marth? Fucking, I don't know why my document did that. Anyway.
My favorite Fire Emblem.
Shut up. And Joshu Kase from Psycho Pass. So why don't we start this time with Andrew? What are your thoughts on the performances of the Kame family?
I remember when you were looking into this and you mentioned Linda Leonard was the lady from Psycho Pass. I'm like, oh, fuck, that checks out perfect, actually.
The second I saw, when I researched Linda, I was like, I saw that and I was like, fuck, how did I not get that? It's also been years since I've watched Psycho Pass, but anyway.
And then it became bad.
Andrew, what are you talking about? There was only ever one season of Psycho Pass.
One season and one movie and nothing else.
You right.
God.
You fucking right. Anyway.
Look, that's a rant for another time about how much I hate Psycho Pass 2 and how much Mika Shimotsuki as a character was fucking wasted. Anyways, Linda Leonard, she does a good job being a sweet, charismatic... I like how she's just very much like the... Daisuke, You're going to be very nice to this man. He's going to teach you a lot of things, and he's going to be a good influence on him, and you are going to behave, young mister.
Yep.
And then she turns evil, which, by the way, here's a little fun fact about because there's not really a way to work this in. This anime was directed by Tomohiko Ito. Tomohiko Ito has directed a couple of things. Notably, he did the first few seasons of Sword Art Online. Basically, he did the SAO seasons before Alicization. I
forgot.
He directed Silver Spoon, and most relevant to the thing I'm going to say next, he directed Erased. He directed the anime for Erased. This is relevant for two reasons. One, there actually is a cameo of the Erased kids in episode 4. Very poorly drawn, but it's the kids from Erased when they're trying to look for clues about the dog in a montage. It's just the kids from Erased there.
Anyway.
The other reason it's important is because evil red eye. Grandma has in one shot the evil red eye. That's how you know she's bad and evil. And that's a thing that's everywhere in Erased.
Fuck, you're right.
So it's clearly
I forgot.
It's clearly a directorial touch of his. Which I'll say this.
Be.
I think he actually does a really good job directing this because he's got a good sense of comedic chops with this. And also, like, some pretty good espionage, like, drama stuff going for it, too. I'll give it that. Linda does a very good job being little sweet grandma to evil bitch grandma. She does good. Brian Mathis is a very sophisticated butler who will trim your hedges, mow your lawn, and kill your enemies and make sure that they never find the body.
Yep.
He's very civil. I kind of wish they almost went a little more into it, because I think it's a good twist, but it's like, okay, you're just the butler? That's all? I serve my lady like a ninja butler, so I kill in her name, and that's all? Like, he's very civil when he's having that confrontation with Haru. It's like, by the way, I wasn't told to kill you. Just go home, have a beard. Oh no, I shot you now. Man, that was stupid. Oh god, it's in my fucking wound, you dick!
Oh, yeah. Oh, the wound bit was great.
Oh, that was so... Oh, that looked like it hurt, but... Oh, that's the right way to do it. And yeah, Brian does a good job as the butler. And Shigemaru, Jeremy Inman. He's Jeremy Inman. He sounds like a good, bad dad.
That kind of is, I don't want to say, like, my complaint, but it's like, it's Jeremy Inman. I've watched so much Fire Force, and it's like, you can't convince me that Jeremy Inman character is evil.
You're not wrong.
Like, well, technically he wasn't evil. He was being the butler. Which, you know...
Technically he was a disguise the whole time. And meanwhile, the actual Shigemaru Kame was, like, isolated in maybe, like, I don't know, a fucking mental institution or something.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the hell was up with
there.
that. Like, did he have a mental breakdown? Did they break his legs? They drug him? Like, I don't know. What's the deal with that? Okay.
I don't know.
Sure. Anyways, the Kame family is very important, but they also kind of, they really don't have much of a presence, despite the fact that they're apparently very important. Which I think everybody does a fine job playing these characters, but for what is basically, like, very integral to the story, they didn't really leave much of an impact overall.
Oh, moving on. Jett, how about you give us your thoughts on the performances?
Sure. So I guess I'll start with Jeremy Inman and Shigemaru, since I already kind of talked about it. It was like, yeah, it's Jeremy Inman. I thought he did a pretty fine job. He didn't get to speak a lot, but I thought he had, like, enough presence for his handful of scenes. Again, because it was Jeremy Inman and I've watched, like, 30 or 40 episodes of Fire Force at this point, it's like, I just kind of view Jeremy Inman as, like, the very nice Fire Force dad, so, like, hearing him play an evil dad just kind of felt a little weird to me. I thought it became, it's like, I just can't really view a Jeremy Inman character as evil, which I guess panned out because I guess he technically wasn't evil, but, you know.
I mean, after dealing with so much of Captain Obi, it's like, you can't be mad at Jeremy, you know? Because Obi's the fucking best. Like,
By the way, Gigi, if you want a daddy, look at Akitara Obi in Fire Force.
Sorry, somebody sent me a link and said that there's Mass Singer audience Zoom spots available, so I'm trying to claim some.
oh my god, yes.
All right, good luck with that. Anyways, look up a picture from Obi from Fire Force and tell me you wouldn't want that daddy.
Anyway.
Brian Mathis as the butler. I thought he was fine too. I thought he had like a good amount of presence. I thought he handled himself pretty well during the twist. I thought he had like the right amount of roughness to make it seem kind of doubly terrifying, like he didn't quite know what he was going to do. I mean, again, him being like extremely loyal and having that be mostly unexplained was kind of weird, but I guess just sort of roll with it. I definitely did get a good kick out of how polite his delivery was. Where it was like, "Well, I wasn't told to kill you, so if you leave, I'll spare you." And Haru was just going nope, and like how that whole fight went down. I thought that was pretty amusing, and that was fun. But yeah, most interesting person in this section was probably Linda Leonard as Granny Kame here. Linda Leonard is generally pretty good at playing grandmother attitude, so I like hearing her in these kinds of roles. And like Andrew was saying, I thought she did a really good job initially of, going between sounded like a very kind old lady when talking to Haru and then being very no nonsense when like talking to Kanbei, like you listen to this nice young man and all that stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. And then we got to the whole twist, and I thought she had like the right amount of answer to when it was revealed she was a mastermind. I mean, since we brought up the whole psychopath thing, I feel like I should have expected this in hindsight. Like, you definitely should not trust a little Leonard character. But I guess I was naive.
I mean, psychopaths is a thing that exists, guys.
Yeah, I thought they had the right amount of answer in that whole twist. And I definitely did get, and while the whole, like, thing with the whole, like, infinite energy source thing was kind of like, whatever, like, weird mystery shenanigans.
Dolium, I think it's what it's fucking called?
Yeah.
Oh,
and if we didn't like the whole, like, humanity isn't ready for this, I'm like, yeah, that definitely does sound like something a rich old person would say to defend their wealth. So I thought that was, like, the most comfort this show ever had. And then how that all gets...
It's like a fucking prospector in a fucking gold mine trying to protect fucking...
That's why I appreciate the punchline that it got leaked entirely by accident by Howard just like accidentally pressing a button when he wasn't supposed to.
Hey, I'm dying. I'm dying here. Don't blame me if society like fucking falls apart.
Whoops.
Not my fault.
Did I do something wrong, Suzume? Nah, you're fine.
It's not my fault.
Daisuke wanted me to tell you thank you. Okay, flop.
It's not my fault society wasn't ready for unobtainium.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I thought all three of these performances were pretty good.
Okay. I'll jump in next so Gigi can continue trying to get Masked Singer Zoom access.
I'm done. They're all during work. They all start at like 3 o'clock Central Time.
Are you for real? Now
yeah.
I'm upset.
I am
That's
too.
dumb.
Well, my friend got in, so I'm going to have all this. I mean, no, I'm not.
Lucky.
Cut that out.
Lucky bitch. God. I'll go next anyway. It's fine. I'll start with Jeremy as Shigemaru, Papa Kame. So, I kind of have to agree with Jett that it's very hard to see a bad dad in Jeremy. But I think part of it for me too is like, if you look at the character design of Shigemaru Kame, it's a different kind of like character type too that Jeremy doesn't normally play. So I appreciate like twisting it a little bit more and letting Jeremy play it. So because Jeremy gave off this not necessarily sinister, but like kind of dark, maybe slightly brooding, a bit more brooding than fucking Daisuke, you would think, right? And I'll admit I really did enjoy that a lot. And it's also very interesting because I'm pretty sure this was figured out long ago. Jeremy kind of, I think, has to be Hattori in disguise. So I wonder if any of that was taken into consideration with Jeremy's performance and trying to like make it a disguise, but maybe give like little small twinges of Hattori's mannerisms and personality to an extent. Which that would have been a very interesting way of performing it, because going through it for the first time, you obviously don't know that Shigemaru is actually Hattori in disguise. Going through the second time, my brain was like, I wonder if there was any part in the performance that Jeremy had to like kind of portray some mannerisms that Brian would use, you know what I mean? And I think that'd be kind of interesting if that was the case. It probably is the case, because Cliff has this sixth sense about how things go, which shows he's very good at it and pays attention to the through lines. So I wouldn't put it past him that he kind of foresaw that too.
Media literacy is important, ladies and gentlemen.
It is very important. Steady up, boys and girls. Speaking of Brian Mathis, Hattori is nice, proper butler gentleman. Like, may I help you with your coat? Will you be staying for dinner, madam? Like, it's basically the stereotypical prim, proper butler throughout the majority of the show. And even in the last episode when he faces Kato, it's like he's still there. He's like, I wasn't ordered to kill you, so that's not my directive. Like, I'm like, okay, you're still keeping the act up throughout the whole course of it, but he's an undercover badass, and it's like, where did he get his training? Like, did he get trained to be an assassin or some horseshit? Like, I'm surprised they didn't delve into that more, which makes me sad. But I really enjoyed the prim, proper Hattori butler, who is just, like you guys were saying, is very, very loyal to the Kame family. But I also have to agree with Jett. The clear star of this section is Linda Leonard as Grandma. And there are two highlights in her performance that I love. There's her introduction and her first interaction with Kato. And then there's episode 11 and her last interaction with Daisuke. So we mentioned this before. So the first interaction she has with Kato, she's the sweet grandma. Is like, oh, please take care of my grandson. Da 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 da. Daisuke, you make sure you listen to this nice young man. And then I made sure to get credits for Linda before watching the end of the show again today, and I forgot how amazing Linda is with her vocal tone and performance when she has to play those mind games, right? Because she's at the end of episode 11, Grandma Kame is basically playing this entire little mini mind game with Daisuke, and I really loved Linda's performance in that, because it was just like, oh shit, it was very convincing actually, and I loved it, and it's now making me like, I need to go rewatch Psycho-Pass so I can see those fucking mind games in there again. Like, it's so much fun. But all three of these performances I did enjoy very, very much, though Linda did stand out. Gigi, what are your thoughts?
I'll make this quick. Thank you, Grandma, for being the crazy evil grandma. I've never seen any of the stuff that you guys are already talking about, so I was just like, oh my god, nice grandma turned crazy evil grandma. But she wasn't over the top, like, witchy sounding, which I really appreciated. She wasn't like Ghibli movie villain grandma.
It was more subtle.
Yeah, she was just like a subtle evil grandma, and I was like, thank you for being a friend and one of the golden girls we can look up to. Okay, so here's my question that I have for you guys.
Okay.
When it was clearly Shigemaru in disguise, was that Brian Mathis playing Jeremy Inman, or was that Jeremy Inman? Because I clearly heard Jeremy Inman in the flashbacks only.
It is Jeremy Inman. It's more like Jeremy Inman trying to have a little bit of Brian's personality. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I was pretty sure
it's 100% Jeremy Inman all the way through with Shigemaru.
I think it wasn't Brian until the mask quite literally came off. Not metaphorically.
Yeah.
Quite literally came off.
Because I rewatched that last episode And it was definitely Jeremy, and then the mask came off and it was Brian.
Right.
So that's why I was like
100% Shigemaru was 100% Jeremy.
So I was like, okay. But then I do kind of realize that in one of the scenes in the episode before, maybe a couple episodes before, he kind of sounded Canadian. And I was like, is that motherfucker JJ?
Oh my god. Wow, we're getting a lot more Yuri on Ice callbacks than I was expecting tonight. Which, look, by the way, while we're on the subject, Gigi, you're 100% right. JJ is the best and actually did nothing wrong.
I told you. What
No,
took you so long?
I've agreed with you for years, ever since I watched it in college. Like, JJ, all he was just kind of a dick that one time.
Look. Andrew, just because you're right doesn't mean you're not still canceled.
Look.
This is a fight for a different episode. Maybe the Patreon show.
Look, JJ wouldn't get canceled, but he would get his nudes leaked.
No, I'm saying you're still canceled, Andrew. Even though you're trying to be good with Gigi, you're still canceled.
I'm aware. I'm just saying that JJ is the king. No one can beat him.
That's right. As everyone should know.
Oh, shit.
I thought I wouldn't necessarily call his performance like bad dad. He definitely sounded more like a dad than like a scientist dad. Like, he kind of sounded nerdy to me, and I was like, all right, I mean, whatever. Like,
I mean he is a nerd.
Shigemaru's character.
Yeah, like
It is accurate to Shigemaru's character, yeah.
He is a nerd, and I was like, okay, that's a little different. But then I thought he was Canadian, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna move on. So I thought Jiro was played by Chris Waycamp, and then I realized that it's the guy who plays Elias in fucking Ancient Magus Bride, which I thought was Chris Waycamp for the longest time. So I was like, oh, of course it's Brian Mathis.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So he's not one hell of a butler, but I guess he's an okay butler. I mean, he's kind of sexy and evil every
time.
time.
He's not on Sebastian levels, but he
No.
might come close.
He's
not on Sebastian levels.
But he's basically
kind of sexy
a ninja.
and evil. But I mean, like, he's kind of sexy and evil sounding, but only when he talks to Grandma. So I wonder kind of what's going on there in the shadows. Like, maybe that's the spinoff that I wanted, was like Golden Girls meets Butler Man, the Golden Butler. We'll go with that.
Gigi,
I mean, you're right.
Gigi.
There's that one. Andrew, let me say something. There is that one flashback in the last episode where we learn exactly what happened to Daisuke's mom, where you have Hatori is like, Master Shigemaru is going to see her. It's like, oh Jesus.
But none of these
it was a tone of voice we didn't get before.
daddies were the daddy I was looking for. So we can move on now.
So, see, you make it sound like it's kind of like a hunt for Cinderella or something like that when it comes to hunting for a daddy.
I'm looking for the best dad in
Do you
the
have
Millionaire
a slipper on hand for
Detective.
this?
What's the slipper in this scenario?
I don't know, like some handcuffs.
Elevator
This
shoes.
is police
I was
drama,
gonna
right?
say like elevator shoes.
Shoes.
Or a nice a Rolodex.
You don't use a Rolodex anymore. You don't even know what a Rolodex is.
Andrew, you're talking about a Rolex, not a Rolodex.
Oh.
Andrew, what is a Rolodex? Please tell me what you think a Rolodex is. Because I have a Rolodex from my old job, and I can tell you what a Rolodex is.
My grandfather has had an old
here
Rolodex on his desk. Like,
Tell you what is a Rolodex, Andrew. I really want to know, without you looking it up, what is a Rolodex?
yeah, please. What is a Rolodex, Andrew? I want to hear this. Come on, Andrew. Let's go. What's a Rolodex?
Don't fucking Google it now,
God.
bitch.
No, we're not Googling this either.
A
Oh
stopwatch?
man, we're not even an hour in, and Andrew's already been canceled again.
Did he say a watch? He said a watch, guys. Okay,
stopwatch?
listen to me. Listen to me, you little child. Okay, a Rolex is a very expensive men's dress watch. A Rolodex is a little plastic or sometimes metal thing that you put on a desk where people used to write names and addresses and phone numbers of their clients in order to pull them out so they could call them or write them letters.
It's kind of like an old school address book, if that makes sense.
But it's in a box.
Got it.
It's like a recipe box with people's names in it. Do you know what a recipe box is?
This is just reminding me that I'm dating a child.
I'm not that much of a child.
Andrew.
I'm sorry. Yes, you are.
Andrew.
You're still fucking canceled, kid.
Oh, God.
I was just trying to help you find your daddy, and you're making fun of me. Fuck off.
I found my own damn daddy.
That's not a... Hey, that's not a daddy. That's a Wookiee. Get it right.
Oh, my God.
I missed you, Fox.
Well, I know what the Patreon clip should be now.
Oh, God.
Thank you, sweetie, for being an infant and not knowing what shit is.
I
Guess who's
was
getting a
trying
Rolodex
to
for
say the
Hanukkah?
watch, but I forgot the phrasing.
Well, good job. Anyway, while we're kind of dying here, let's move on. Let's move on to our next set of characters. We're going to talk about the two main characters from the first division of the Metropolitan Police Department. We have Katsuhiro Takei and Ryo Hoshino. So Takei is is in charge. He's the director of the first division. And Hoshino is one of the detectives on that force. They are very prevalent. One, because Kato used to be part of the first division until PTSD kicks in. We'll talk about that later. And two, Takei, as well as one character we're going to talk about in the next section, they used to be partners, and they were on the original investigation team for the murder of Daisuke's mother. And Takei kind of dies towards the end. Maybe not exactly a heroic death, but...
he stood his ground and he was
screen.
murdered violently.
He dies off screen. But anyway, the individuals voicing these characters, as Katsuhiro Takei, we have Christopher Sabat, who has voiced characters such as Ayame-sama in all iterations of Fruits Basket. I liked how we talked about Psycho-Pass Jett, I'm sorry. He is Sakuya Togane in Psycho-Pass Season 2, the season that does not exist.
Oh, fuck that guy!
And he's the worst character, too.
He's the fucking worst. But for Gigi, he's also Ukyo Asahina from Brothers Conflict.
Yeah, boy.
Wait, which one was that? Was that the
Doctor? I think he's the Doctor character.
The mom. He was the mom.
AKA the Doctor, right?
No, the Doctor. Well, wait, hold on. No, oh God, I'm getting my brothers confused. You keep talking.
Oh no.
Okay.
While we're figuring this out, Ryo Hoshino is voiced by Jordan Dash Cruz, who has voiced characters such as Soma Akiyama in Hensky, Lawrence in Wise Man's Grandchild, and Shota Tanoe in After School Dice Club.
Ukyo is the one who I thought he was. He's the blonde one. He's the lawyer, not the doctor.
Oh, he's the lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. He wears a suit of some sort. That's what I remember. Who was the doctor? Tatum was the doctor.
Tatum.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yep. Okay. I was on the right track.
Close.
Let's see. I'll start on this one, I think. So, I'm going to start with Jordan. Because Hoshino is I don't know if he's a vindictive character. He kind of has it out for Kato, because he thinks Kato brings trouble to everything. Because Kato fucks shit up. He gets demoted. He almost got their superior. He supposedly got their superior in trouble and all this fun shit. So Hoshino has a little bit, I guess, like a little bit of a vendetta against Kato to an extent. But, huh. Jordan doesn't come up very often, and it's a shame to me, honestly. Because I do like him, and I like his portrayal of Hoshino. I wrote one note, and I think this is accurate. Jordan seems to be a stick in the mud. If that makes sense. Because Hoshino is very much a stick in the mud. He's a stickler of, like, rules and the guidelines. Is like, you stay out of this. This is First Division's investigation. What the fuck you doing? Get the fuck out of here. And, I like it. It comes through. There is also that youthful energy because realistically, he's probably about the same age as Kato. To which Kato, we learn, is about 30 years old. So Hoshino's probably around that same range. And I do like Jordan's performance because it goes from stick in the mud and then eventually, like, towards the last third of the show, he kind of, like, warms up to a little bit more because at the end of it, he's like, he realizes, like, who Kato is actually as a person and how, what Kato's relationship to his superior actually is. And then he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. And I think Hoshino kind of gets, like, kind of warms up a little bit more, and kind of relaxes a little bit more and becomes a bit more friendly, to Kato. So I like the character progression and the performance that Jordan gives. And Jordan needs to be in more things that we talk about, I think, personally. It's like, please. Because he's been around. The last time I remember talking about Jordan, I think, was 4 years ago. I don't remember when. But I know there was something. I can't fucking remember, though. It was like a minor role somewhere.
I know where I talked about Jordan, but I'll save that surprise.
Okay. But moving on to Sabbath. Sabbath has the leadership and authority that we all know and love him for. But I think what the main thing I want to point out with Takei's character is during the second half of the series where we learn more about his past with Cho specifically. And you start seeing, like, him breaking apart a little bit and, like, kind of having this breakdown. Especially when they're trying to figure out what the fuck is happening. Was there, like, a cover-up and all this fun stuff. And Takei is just, like, slowly losing his ever-loving garbage. And I liked that mental breakdown that Sabbath had to portray. Because we all know and love Chris Sabat for, like, the strong, like, authoritative, manly figures. But, like, having some of that more psychological, more mental depth to a character, I think is not only makes Take a little bit more well-rounded, but it shows a bit more versatility for Sabat as an actor as well, and I really enjoy that. Fucking Take. Oh, Take, I can't even tell him, I can't even say he died a hero's death because he was freaking the fuck out right before it happened. He's like, I don't want to die! But, anyway. But, no, I do like both these performances. Let's go to, I'm gonna save Gigi for, wait, Gigi was last one, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Gigi! Fuck it! Go ahead.
I wrote 2 notes down for, no, wait. I'm gonna go with Jordan Dash Cruz first. Because we know that we love him from I Know Kusabi.
Oh!
And also Ensemble Stars.
I still haven't watched all of Ensemble Stars.
Yeah, neither have I. There's a reason for that, but we won't get into that on this episode.
Whoops.
So going off of what you said, I don't really think he dislikes Haru. I think he's really trying to figure out the line that he has to cross, because they were friends and they were, like, equal. Right. And now he's practically his boss. Not really his boss, but, like, he's above his superior. Him. Exactly. So how do you go from somebody being your best friend to, like, oh, now I have all this power over you and I have to tell you what to do? So it's like a hard line to stand on. And oh my gosh,
fair.
he just sounds so serious in this. And I really liked him I liked him best in the flashback episode, to be honest with you. But I thought Jordan did a really great job. Just, it's a hard role to play when you have to kind of decide where that line is and where you want to cross it and where you don't want to cross it. So I understand. And I thought he did a really great job at it. It's nice to hear him in something else that I've watched. So I think he does a good job at stuff. So I'm all here for this guy. And I wrote 2 notes down for Takei. The first one is, I'm really happy that he gets to have this really dramatic scene that Chris does, because really, like, I don't watch the same stuff you guys do. So all I hear when I hear Chris Abbott is All Might, and I'm not a huge fan of My Hero Academia. I mean, it's all right, but I mean, this is not All Might. Which brings me to point number 2, which is the other note that I wrote down, which is, I guess this was the daddy I was looking for.
There it is. Okay.
There he is. So yeah, I really liked this.
You like a man that fucks his way to the top?
Yeah, how else are you gonna get there? Hard work.
Shit.
Do what you gotta do, man.
That's amazing.
I thought this is a really good performance. I really liked it. I honestly, guys, I had a lot of trouble differentiating between all the men in this show, because they're all kind of similar, and for the most part they have like a lot of similar lines to say, like, but out of all of them, like all of the supporting roles anyway, I think Chris's performance as Takei was my favorite, just because it stood out the most to me, and I felt that, like, I can believe that this guy is like detective cop boss, like, and that he was crooked.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. I see it.
I like that he was daddy of the show, and I'm surprised that it's not Kame 2, but when we get to Kame, you'll get a brand new thing that will blow your fucking minds from me. So.
Oh no. Okay.
You've already heard it.
Jett, how about your thoughts on these performances?
So starting with Jordan Dash Cruz, I'm not like super familiar with him. Like, I've heard him in other things, but he's not a voice I can pick out that distinctly. But I thought he sounded fine here. I thought his dynamic with Kato was pretty interesting, where, like Gigi was saying, it was clear that, like, they used to be friends. So, like, he had some respect for him, and he's kind of like conflicted with that. And I think also, like, just, like, I don't know if it's like it's supposed to be stated, but my reading was that, like, I thought he kind of, like, maybe used to look up to Haru in a sense, and now, like, Haru's broke. Like, and now Haru's just kind of like a broken shell of who he used to be, and I guess, like, and I guess he just kind of, like, resents him for that now, and I thought that was, like, an interesting dynamic. I thought Jordan got that across pretty well. So I thought all their interactions were, like, pretty interesting, and I thought the way it kind of resolved towards the end, where Haru revealed that, like, he didn't really have any resentment towards his old boss, and he had nothing but respect for him. I thought that was handled pretty well. And speaking of said boss, hey, it's Chris Abbott. I feel like I don't hear him in a lot of, like, simul dubs that aren't like Black Clover or My Hero, so it's always kind of nice to hear him in, like, little things like this. I thought he did a pretty good job playing, like, the conflicted shop director. I thought he had the right amount of gravitas in his younger days, where he clearly wants to do the right thing, but, you know, he also wants to he also kind of wants to, you know, have things be pretty easy for his job, which is why he kind of, like, marries his boss's wife, which is, like, well, I mean, you know.
Marry his boss's wife? I thought it was his daughter.
Daughter, right?
Hold on. I don't think that would get him upset.
I'm sorry. I can't break today.
Joe, that's how you know Takei was willing to do anything to get up in the world. Hey, buddy, I see you're trying to get up in the cop world, okay? You're trying to be a big man. You're trying to do a justice real good. If you want to do a justice, how about you do my wife? I can't get it up for shit, and I think you fucking my wife would be pretty hot.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
That's how Takei got up in the world.
No!
No.
No, it was the daughter, Andrew.
Look, neither's exactly ideal.
I'm going home.
Jett just had a small slip of the tongue, that's all.
Look! How often do you bust my balls? I can bust Jett's a little bit. It's fine.
It's fine. He gets the one tonight.
He gets the one, but that's it.
Thank you,
He's
Jett.
still canceled.
You're a good man.
But yeah, I thought he handled like the whole conflict there pretty well. When I kind of like this whole like, I kind of like the whole breakdown towards the end where we kind of did a little mystery of like, of like who killed Tyree Conway and all that jazz. Yeah, it was a perfectly fine Chris Chapin performance. I thought it was definitely like one of the better, more distinct ones about this morning cast. It was good.
Okay. Andrew.
I'll start off with Chris Abbott. I think he does a very good job sounding like the authoritative, gruff and tough boss man for a lot of this. And I think also a thing that's been kind of underplayed is that it's always fun when you get to hear actors get to play up or down a little bit younger or older than like the character is, because through a lot of the show, Takei is basically like a 50-somethings guy, maybe 60, but you also get the flashback where he was working alongside Cho, where he's at least a good, like, he's within, like, early 30s or something like that. And it's interesting, where you hear him play it down a little bit more, where he sounds noticeably younger and a little more, I feel like, in tune with justice and procedure before he got a little bit corrupted by everything around him. But yeah, I think Abbott does a really good job pulling that authoritative, strong, commanding leader, and I think he's got some great chemistry with a lot of the ensemble cast, including Haru and Cho. And now going into Jordan playing Ryo. I've heard Jordan in a couple of things. I think Jordan, what I associate with Jordan is that he's a little more of the dude bro, laid back, jokester, kinda goofy asshole. I wouldn't say stonerish, but he's more of like the dude bro.
Stoner, okay.
I wouldn't even say stoner. I'd say like what I've heard of him in stuff like Hensky, and I believe he was also in NAVIGATOR. He's a little more dude bro-y.
Yes, I think he was too.
And in this, he's playing what's much more the straight-laced, like, good boy. And it's weird, because he sounds a little too... Okay. On one hand, I believe, yes, this character might be a little bit of a straight-laced stiff. Which I think does intentionally come out in the performance. But there's times where I couldn't tell if he was being intentionally flat in the delivery, or if it was just a flat line read. There were a couple of times where it genuinely kind of bothered me a little bit, and it seemed like he was a little more flat or deadpan than I think the character really needed to be or should have been in that moment. Which is like, I don't think he does a bad job, but I felt it was a little more distracting. Because there was a couple times where it's like, okay, you're supposed to be a little more serious or a little more of an asshole. And he sounded a little bit... He sounded a little flat at times, where it's like, I believe, yes, this character could have been a little straight-laced, a little bit play by the numbers, but I think when he had to emote or be a little more sincere, it kind of didn't work for me.
Let me ask you this then. Because I'm not used to Jordan and his performances. Gigi's a little bit more used to him, I think. But you basically... It sounded like you basically described a character type that Jordan usually plays, and this goes against type. Do you think that because Hoshino is against the usual type you're used to Jordan playing, you think that has something to do with it?
I honestly don't think it's really against the type in this particular scenario, because I feel like if I wasn't familiar with him and I still thought the performance was like really good throughout, I wouldn't have like too many issues. But I think there's just enough times throughout the entirety of Millionaire Detective where it was just flat and a little bit weak, that I thought it did kind of underwhelm me at a couple of moments. Like, I don't think he's bad, and I could buy the argument that he is indeed supposed to be a little bit straight-laced and a little bit more serious than like a lot of the other characters, but I feel there's just a couple of moments where it just doesn't quite work for me, especially when he's trying to be sincere and he's talking about like he basically says like Haru, like the hero has come back or something like that, and it's supposed to be a kind of sincere moment, and I didn't really buy it.
To be fair, that's a pretty 180 about face for Hoshino as a character too. That kind of comes very quickly.
That's also fair, but I thought it was
that's very fair because we go from him and Kato be like him talking to Kato in a fucking interrogation room, basically accusing him potentially of Cho and Takei's murders, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna help you. The hero is back." Like, it's a complete 180. So I can see where that can be an issue.
But it's that I don't think Jordan's bad, nor do I even think he's doing a bad job here. But I would also say that it's probably, unfortunately, one of the weaker performances in the dub overall.
Interesting. Okay. So, alright, there's 5 characters in this next group, though I'm pretty sure 3 of them are gonna go by very quickly. 2 of them have larger roles. We're gonna talk about the Modern Crimes Unit. The
Squad.
This is where the Squad. This is where the bad eggs seem to go. All the time. In this wonderful squad, we have the... the acting director that we find out at the end of the fucking show, Yukihiro Koemizu. We have the oldest member on that squad, and just a few days out from retirement, Chosuke Nakamoto, aka Cho. We also have Mahoro Saike. Wow, Saiki. I can fucking talk. Shit. She is the only female member of the unit. And the main characteristic for her is that she just loves sweets. We have Shinosuke Kame, who his main characteristic basically, he's a lazy sack of shit. 2, he's a complete perv. And then we have
not
Tepe
even
Yumoto.
that. He's also into like senior ladies.
Yeah, it is a body.
Again, he's a perv. He's a bit of a perv because there's jokes at his expense about like, there's sex-related jokes made at his expense in porn sites and horseshit. And then we have Tepe Yumoto, who's probably like middle-aged in terms of the entire crew, whose main characteristic is gambling. Like, he bets on horse races and boat races and all the fucking time. And you're gonna love how I dubbed this individual once we talk about these performances. Koyemitsu and Cho play larger roles in the show, though, because the 2 of them are also tied, just like Takei, to the investigation to Sayori Kambe's murder. The individuals voicing these characters, starting from the bottom. Yumoto is voiced by David Matranga, who has voiced characters such as Bertolt Hoover from Attack on Titan, Yukimasa Sagura from Red Data Girl, and the Wolfman from Wolf Children. Kame, I can talk! Holy shit! Aaron Roberts, who has voiced characters such as Pastis from Aka 13th Territory Inspection Department. Gigi will love this one probably. Sunny from Toriko. And an old fucking callback for all the older fans of Dub Talk here, Cody Balfour.
Oh my god.
Gangsta.
That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. If you don't know the joke, please go watch our Sky Wizards Academy episode. There's a reason why Cody Balfour just saves the day. It's fine.
The episode, the show's optional, we promise.
Psyche is voiced by Lucy Christian, who has voiced characters such as Nessa from Fractale, Reg from Made in Abyss, and Hitomi Kashiwa from Welcome to the NHK. Cho is voiced by Kent Williams, who has voiced characters such as the Judge from Ace Attorney, Mal from Darker Than Black, and Sid Barrett from Soul Eater. And finally, as Koimizu, we have Ben Phillips, who has voiced characters such as President Turtle from Africa Salaryman, Pokotaro from Recovery from an MMO Junkie, and Yoshitake Shiraishi from Golden Kamuy, that little dumbass. Alright, let's start with Jett. What are your thoughts on these performances?
Okay, so I can be pretty quick with most of these. David Petranga, not gonna lie, I honestly kind of forgot he was there after a while. His character didn't do much, and he was just kind of in the background the whole time. And I mean, it's David Petranga. He always sounds good. He sounded fine here. I mean, I guess the best thing I can say is that he did a good job of not standing out too much. Which I mean, his character was largely in the background, so that felt kind of necessary. And yeah, it was fine. It was just he didn't have much to do, so I kind of forgot about him. Aaron Roberts as Kame, I thought he was pretty funny. I got a few good lines out of his character, constantly just looking at porn sites. Which seems like a weird thing to do when you're on the clock, but I guess if you have that much free time, it's whatever. But
the Modern Crimes Unit doesn't really help with a lot of big things. They're usually stuck with lost children or fucking a fight in the subway or some shit. They're stuck with the bottom of the barrel type of offenses.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought Aaron played a really good butt monkey. I got a lot of good laughs out of his delivery. It was a lot of fun. Lucy Christian and Takei, it was basically just Lucy Christian doing her thing, playing a really nice lady. She's always good at that sort of thing. Honestly, had the right amount of pep and energy. I think one of her highlights was probably I think it was episode 5 during the whole mobbing thing where she's just where she's just kind of palling around with a janitor and that ends up saving the day basically. I thought that was pretty funny.
That was good.
I also kind of appreciated her delivery during the episode directly after that where the directors are trying to figure out who to blame for all this, and then immediately she's like, I did absolutely nothing. It was him.
They all threw Kato under the bus. It was great.
So that was.
And then they look at Daisuke. It's like, what are you looking at me for? I was off duty. I'm not in trouble for this shit.
Yeah. Ben Phillips is Kiyomizu. I thought he sounded pretty fun. He had this kind of nice sort of. It feels kind of weird to say goofy dad considering it's a cop, but it's I guess kind of weird sort of goofy dad voice. It's where he just sounds like a very nice dad, just kind of I don't know, I guess dealing with his children constantly, and I thought his performance sounded pretty amusing in trying to just kind of keep the whole band together, I guess. And I kind of liked the contrast between how he sounded in the modern day and how he sounded in the flashback, where he sounded like a little gruffer back then, which I appreciate. It wasn't super distinct, but it was definitely enough that you can tell there was a shift in his tone, and it definitely added to the seriousness of those flashbacks, which I thought helped. And I thought his delivery was a little stronger there too, so I definitely appreciated that. But the highlight of this section would definitely be Kent Williams' Cho. I thought he had a really nice, kind of exhausted old man who's been around the block kind of tone to his voice. And Kent Williams is always really good at that sort of thing, so I really liked him here. I definitely got a really good kick out of his delivery in episode 2 or 3, where they're doing a bunch of interrogations, and in his interrogation he pulled the whole what was your mom think card, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Yes. Fucking Kato early on is just he could learn a thing or two from Cho. Is what would your poor sweet mother think of what you've done? And then the guy just breathes It's oh my god.
Yeah.
Fucking Cho. He's the best.
But I also appreciated that when push comes to shove, he could also, he's also kind of willing to do whatever it takes to get things done. Even, cops pulling crooked stuff is like, but but I mean, this show is like pretty goofy for the most part, so I don't want to like nitpick on that too much.
Wait, I just thought of something.
Oh no.
Was
What?
Kent Williams the fuck you detective man from Death Parade?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Oh my god, it makes so much sense now.
At least he's not that much of an awful detective this time.
Yes, he's not that awful of a cop.
He's not that awful here, which is fine. just maybe, like, he'll go to lengths to solve cases, yes, but he's also not going around murdering people, so...
That helps.
It helps.
But yeah, I thought he did pretty good when he was like, when he was like, when he was trying to kind of blackmail the office lady. I thought that was pretty good. And like with Ben, I thought I appreciated that he's had a lot rougher and kind of a little more hard boiled during the flashbacks when he was younger.
Yep.
I thought it was like very distinctive compared to how like kind of grumpy and tired he sounded as an adult.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty effective, and I thought he just sounded really well rounded throughout the whole thing. And personally, this was probably my favorite performance of the dub. So, yeah, can't really go wrong with Kent Williams.
Okay. Gigi.
I could pretty much sum up all of these characters with that little meme that says, "This is fine."
You mean the one where everything's
or a bad
You mean the one where everything's on fire?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
But there's fire everywhere, Gigi.
I don't care.
Gigi's like, eh. All right.
I'll go into slightly more depth. Dave Matranga sounded very bitter, and he kind of sounded grizzled. Like, I kind of liked it. I think Dave Matranga really shines more as older characters, which is like blasphemy for me because Todoroki is my favorite My Hero character, which is what most people know him as. But I think he sounds better as older characters. I almost didn't recognize him. Lucy Christian was Lucy Christian, except she was only aged slightly and she ate a lot.
So many sweets.
That's about it. Aaron Phillips. Aaron
Roberts. I fucked
Roberts.
up originally.
Way to
Oh,
go.
Christ.
Jeez. I wrote it down as Phillips. I'm sorry, Aaron.
I
know
my
who you
fault.
are. It's Stephanie's
That's my
fault
fault because when I originally sent the list over to these guys to keep track of for people who were discussing, I accidentally put Aaron Phillips and not Aaron Roberts. Aaron Phillips is a completely different person.
Oh my god.
I know who you are. You're
That's
an
my
A3.
fault.
We follow each other on Twitter. What's up, Aaron Roberts?
Hey.
Anyway, I thought this was adorable. He's a little floof. I just want to give him a hug.
Little floof.
He sounded the perfect mix of insecurity and cop ready to help out, but very, very careful. He's a little floof. I liked this a lot.
Shit. I like that description. He's a floof.
Floof, like fluffy, but like.
He also has floofy hair a little bit.
Yeah,
there, so.
a little floof.
Yeah, I see it.
I call Chris that all the time. My little floof.
Nice. Floof.
Yeah, that's my pet name for my boyfriend, ladies and gentlemen. This is where my life is now. Ben Phillips, who's not Aaron Phillips, who's really Aaron Roberts. I thought he sounded kind of nerdy, but like you don't really know why, but he's kind of like trolling everybody all along. So
yes.
I dug that. He's kind of like the boss we all really want. But like
yes,
the one that we don't get, I was like, man, like
the boss we want but we don't deserve.
Exactly. Like you could be my boss. You sound like the boss that I would really enjoy having. So I was all about that. And then Kent Williams, again, other than my floof Aaron Roberts, I felt like a lot of dedication in his performance. Like not just him saying the lines dedicated, but like dedication to his job, like dedication to finding the answer to this mystery that's been haunting him basically for most of his adult life. he sounded like a good mix of tired and motivated, which is
Yes.
basically how Cho should sound after all these years. I really enjoyed this performance too. So like I said, this is fine.
Okay. I'm gonna hop in next. Andrew can go last. I will start with Lucy, Aaron, and David because they're gonna be really easy to go through. Lucy is sweet and adorable, just like the sweets she eats. It's great. I love her. Can I also bring up, and this might also lead me into Aaron Roberts too a little bit, episode 9?
I think it's 9, yeah.
9? I think it's 9, where Aaron, and David's characters, they basically, like, leave to quote-unquote go get lunch because Modern Crimes is on lockdown and, Kato gets, taken into custody as a material witness to, both Cho and Takei's deaths. And they're just chilling in a van, and you have Lucy's character telling Aaron's character, like, to get a goddamn signal with an old school fucking antenna on top of his van. She's like, it's the funniest shit. It's like, alright, you gotta move a little bit this way. And he's like, that's not it! What are you doing? Like, Lucy was so cute. I loved it. Leading into Aaron. Aaron is... Floof is an accurate description of this character, actually.
See? He's Floof.
He's so, like, lighthearted and cheery and all this fun stuff, but at the same time, he doesn't want to do jack shit.
Yeah, he's a little
He wants
Floof.
to do nothing. He wants none of it. Like, he like it's been said, he is the butt monkey of the unit, essentially. He's the butt monkey, and Kato is the fucking martyr 9 times out of 10. So nobody gets in trouble but Kato. But Aaron's a fun, like, light performance, and I really loved it. It was so much fun. The one I wrote for David that I really want to bring up, David is just an old man who yells at clouds.
See, he does sound grizzled. An old man who yells at clouds. That's exactly right.
Like, I could see Yumato, David's character, just standing there looking at the sky, like, shaking his fists at the clouds, being upset. It's so dumb, but it works. I'm a little sad that his character doesn't get to do too much, because Aaron and Lucy kind of steal the spotlight on more occasions than one, compared to David. Being the grumpy old man that yells at clouds all the time is a fun description of this character, and I love it. Ben Phillips, I also really enjoy. I saw Kiyomizu as this happy, jolly character is like, don't worry about it. It's on me. Don't worry about it. But I'm glad that it was brought up there was a difference between current Kiyomizu and the flashbacks. And this kind of, I think, also goes into Ken's performance as Cho as well. Where the second the two of them are stuck with the Modern Crimes unit, it's like a weight's been lifted off their shoulders. Except for Cho to an extent. Because we find out in the flashbacks that while they were working with the 1st Division, there was a lot of pressure from the higher-ups, and because the Kame murder case was a huge deal. And so a lot of pressure was put on them, and especially with Kiyomizu, because he reports directly to the big head honcho, basically. But the second Kiyomizu gets sent to Modern Crimes, he loosens up a bit more, and it's a nice contrast, and I really like the performance and the progression there. I love that you guys referred to him as a troll. Coming from this being portrayed by probably, as far as I know, of one of the most infamous anime trolls, Shiraishi.
Oh god, I love Shiraishi so much.
Shiraishi's a dumbass.
Oh, Shiraishi rules.
Shiraishi's a dumbass, but I love him. But I really love Ben's performance. But yeah, 100% Kent is definitely the star in this section, because there are so many layers to Cho's character, that, if anything, aside from Daisuke and Kato, their slight character arcs. I think that if anyone, Show has the biggest like character arc and progression through the entire show, as this older cop close to retirement, but there's this one case that has been waiting on him for years, and he wants to know the truth, and he wants to like bring to light and like have justice served. And seeing Ken's progression throughout the course of the show is very interesting and intriguing. And I bet Andrew's gonna say this, and I'm sorry if you're gonna be stuck repeating me. We sometimes forget how good actors can be.
I literally said that in the chat earlier today.
That's why I said I'm sorry. You're probably gonna be repeating now.
Ah, damn it.
Kent is one of those actors. Like we take for granted actors and how amazing they can be with their performance and their versatility. Kent is definitely one of those. And I enjoy the performance 100% for Cho. He's definitely up there as one of my favorites. I am sorry, Andrew, for probably taking words out of your mouth, but you can go ahead now.
Fine. Alrighty. So I'll start this off. David Petranga. He sounds very different than he usually sounds, but that's pretty interesting. I think he's kind of a fun, grizzly old bastard, and I wish he got to do a little bit more. Aaron...
Old man that yells at clouds.
God, I almost called him Phillips, too. I fucking hate this. Aaron
I'm sorry.
Roberts. Aaron Roberts as Aaron Roberts does a very good job being Aaron Roberts. But yeah, no, he does a good job sounding like this kind of frazzled old... He doesn't really give a shit about what's going on, and he's doing his best. He's kind of the butt monkey, and he's kind of horning it on... He's watching porn at work, and it's just like, oh, hey, who turned that on? Like, bro. Also, we kind of forget that by the end of the show, they're all just using Hughes to just do their shit, because I guess he just became a royalty-free service at the office.
I guess.
Sure. But yeah, no, fucking, Aaron does a fun job. He basically the butt monkey. I love when he's just on the roof and he gets to be bullied by Lucy Christian, who, by the way,
yes,
Lucy's adorable. Lucy's hilarious. She's a lazy old gremlin who's just trying to eat all the snacks, and she makes friends with... Like, she basically saved the entirety of episode 5 just because she befriended a janitor who also made a copy of that same room because he wanted to go and jerk off every now and then.
Yes.
Like, he literally made a spare, stupid, star-shaped key because he needed some private time to jack it. She saved the day on that case, just as a reminder. But yeah, no, she's adorable, and I like when she bullies Aaron's guy. I think these three are fun. I really like Ben Phillips as their boss, their acting director. I actually really like that. Like, I think that final episode, that was a fun twist. Oh, I wasn't actually your boss. I was the acting director. But now I'm actually the director, so I'm actually your boss now. Yay! I'm like, okay, that's funny. No, I think he's got...
That was a fun little twist.
I think he's got a very fun, he's got a very fun, jovial tone of voice. Kind of lackadaisical. But he's just a very fun guy who... He likes his team and cares for his team. But he's not really, going to bust your chops. He's just going to be... He might tease you a little, but he's just going to do his thing, let you do your thing. I actually really liked when it was going back into the origins of the Sayuri Kame case, when he's actually getting really mad, where he's basically worried about internal pressure, and he actually snaps at Sabbath. And, I was like, oh, shit, Ben's actually mad right now. And it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, holy shit. But yeah, no, I think he does a good job. He's a jovial, he's friendly, he's just a good boss. And yeah, no, you're gonna steal what I said already, so I'm just gonna say it right now.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Kent Williams is fucking fantastic. He is fantastic. He's genuinely, he's a veteran of the industry, and I think he really gets to show his stuff off a lot. He's just really, really good. I was really impressed with his with his abilities, and I think he just really brings Cho to life just tremendously. He makes him this very old, 2 days from retirement character, which as soon as they mentioned he was almost at retirement, I'm like, oh, you're fucking dead. You're so fucked. You're so fucked. There was no way.
Oh, shit.
There was no way he was gonna get out of that alive. But no, I just like when he gets to be like kind of like an old grandpa that's doing his best. But
Yes.
I actually also really love seeing him play dirty. It's kind of fucked, but it actually, like, really shows, like, he is willing to put his feet on the table, take a cigarette, and be like, I have all the cards now. You answer my questions, or you're fucked. And I'm like, oh, that's disgusting. That's despicable. That's a corrupt police state. But god damn it, Kent Williams is fantastic. And honestly, yeah, one of the best performances in the show, period.
All right. Any other quick thoughts before we move on to the next characters?
Uh,
Or should I say character and robot?
Hey, robots are people too. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Let's move on to our next dynamic duo, who work very closely with Daisuke, and to an extent Kato. So we have Suzue Kame, who is Daisuke's assistant with all of his cases and stuff like that. And according to Daisuke, she's a family relative. To what extent, we don't fucking know. And I say this because Suzue is very, very...
I'm trying to figure that out too, because it's like, I think she's his sister?
It does not say.
She also refers to them as your parents.
Okay. They say relative, so I immediately just assume like cousin or something.
But I'll say relative, so bare minimum cousin. Bare minimum. There's no confirmation about the extent of the relationship, just that she is a family relative. That's it.
There's gonna be like a minor tangent, but there's one thing I can say. I thought she was going to be a lot more important because, like, you look at the opening song and she's like all over the opening. I think she was going to be like
the opening is basically a James Bond parody, and she gets to be all the sex appeal in
it's a fucking banger.
Oh no, it's a fucking banger. You're right, but
She
she was all over the opening and then like not that relevant to the show.
I thought she was going to be a little more femme fatale or something like that. But...
I think like for an accurate comparison, she's the Alfred. Daisuke's Batman.
What if Alfred was fucking hot with nice tits?
I guess the conclusion I ultimately just came to was like, okay, so whoever directed the opening was just really horny, which, like, I don't blame them.
No, the opening is amazing and very horny. It should have been more horny.
The sexual tension is there, boys and girls. So yeah, Suzue. God damn it. Yes, Suzue. And then we also have Hyusuke, who is this... Hyusuke is a AI who helps basically achieve everything and anything that Daisuke and the Kame family want or need, to a certain extent. Because the big thing that kind of kicks off the second half of the show is the fact that there's an order that Daisuke gives to Hyusuke, and Hyusuke can't do it because Daisuke doesn't have the clearance to do it. And that kind of sets everything into motion. The individual is voicing this character and AI. As Hyusuke, we have Jim Ferranda, who has voiced characters such as Joe Wise from Code Geass: Akito the Exiled, Emperor Hadrian from Thermae Romae, and probably one of the more well-known roles to date under his belt, Muscular from My Hero Academia. As for Suzue, we have Michelle Rojas, who has voiced characters such as Toka Miyashita, aka Boogie Pop from Boogie Pop and Others, Ko Yagami from New Game, and Hugh the Dark Algernon III from Sir Vamp. Fun little throwback there. Let's kick things off with Andrew. What are your thoughts on these performances?
God, that's a fucking name from Sir Vamp. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Hyusuke. Hyusuke is a delightful robot AI, And I love Jim's very casual banter as the role. He's got this very calm, soothing, like, Siri Cortana-esque energy to him, which I think really comes through a lot. Every time he says the phrase, balance unlimited, it's just so very calming and fun.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, also, I actually completely forgot. I was just remembering this. I think one of the hardest laughs I had in the entire show, rewatching it again, was when, like, Suzue is basically freaking the fuck out because Kanbei has no phone and no money. And she's just basically stalking him on all the cameras, making sure he's okay and he doesn't hurt himself. And she's just like, oh no, oh, he's got no money, he can't pay for anything. And Hughes just says, balance limited. It's like, nobody asked you.
Yep.
I got such a kick out of that. I was like, oh, that's so funny. But I think Jim does a great job. But he also is very good at upping the tension, like when he's just like, I cannot answer that. Where it's basically like he's kind of willing to do and partake in all the things, but it kind of has a very oh shit factor when this sentient AI robot thing is saying, I cannot do that. You do not have permission to access that. And it's just like, oh shit. Even the rich fuckboy can't do anything about this. What's he gonna do now? It's like, oh damn. But yeah, no, Jim's got a very nice, calming, like, Siri Cortana-esque voice. And I think he does a great job with the delivery. And it's just very, very chill and matter-of-factly. And it just works. Michelle Rojas. I like Michelle Rojas. She's a lot of fun. She's got a really great voice. She's playing this, I'd say she's not playing this so much as, like, sexy, but a little more very... She's very much, like you said, she is very much like the assistant. I was expecting her to be a lot more femme fatale, but she's basically just, like, a really good, like, dedicated, like, helper.
She's the Alfred. She's the Alfred in this.
More or less. With a better rack, anyways. But yeah, no. I think she does a very fine job. She's very fun. She's very entertaining. I like her chemistry with Kanbei. I like her interactions with other characters. She's pretty good. She's a very good... I wouldn't even say... Okay, you know what? I wouldn't say Alfred. If anything, I'd say more of, like... She is an Oracle. She is Oracle. She is, which is like Batgirl, more or less. I think that's more of a apt comparison, and I think it works. But yeah, no, I'd definitely say my favorite moments is when she's basically fretting over Daisuke running away like a lost kitten, and she's just kind of freaking out and losing sleep and just snapping at everything. I thought that was just really funny. But I think she does a good job, and she's very entertaining, and I think Michelle does a great job with that fun, supportive delivery while also kind of freaking out. But yeah, no, I'm not sure what her actual familial relationship is, because there's that one scene where she's under the covers with Daisuke. It's like, what the fuck's up with that? I know nothing happened, but there's a lot of like, okay.
Hughes can read lips if we're whispering, so let me hide under some sheets.
Okay, again, Andrew, this can simply be explained as the animators were really horny. Which again,
yes,
I don't blame them. But
look, they are.
Yes.
Okay, look, Daisuke and Suzue are pretty fucking fine. Nobody's gonna deny that. I'm just like, that's odd. They think they're siblings. I can't even tell. Anyways, Michelle Rojas. I really liked her as Suzue. She was a lot of fun.
Jim Fornoda as Hughes. I'm not particularly familiar with him, but I definitely liked him here. I thought he had like the right kind of soothing robot. I thought he had like a nice kind of very soothing robot voice that was very nice to listen to. It was a very nice male series. I appreciated it. And I thought it was like just as effective when you find it that Hughes is like kind of evil, and I wouldn't say there's like a shift in his tone after that, but I do just kind of like how whenever you hear him afterwards, how it just kind of sounds menacing in a sense, and I thought that was pretty effective. But I definitely have a little bit more to say about Michelle Rojas because I definitely dug her here. I really enjoyed her here. I thought she had a very kind of nice, prim, and proper tone to her voice, which kind of felt which kind of felt appropriate for a rich lady. And I kind of liked how well she balanced between kind of having like a little bit of self-criticism to her tone while just mostly sounding really overprotective of Daisuke, which was really funny. Especially in episode 4, like Andrew was saying, where she's just kind of like fretting over him like a lost kitten. I thought that was really funny. Where it's like, oh, how is he going to survive the night? It's like, meanwhile, Granny's like, oh, he'll be fine.
He'll come home when he's hungry. It's fine.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I was slightly amused by her delivery, where we find out he's evil, and she drags Daisuke under the covers. I thought that was pretty funny, even if like the framing was kind of weird. On the whole, I kind of expected her to, like I said before, I kind of expected her to be like a little more prominent in the show, but she was mostly just kind of like a friendly Oracle stand-in. I thought she was fun. I thought she was fun for the most part. I liked her a lot.
I'm gonna jump in on this one. I'm gonna start with Jim, because this one should be very, very quick. Because I don't have notes on Jim, sadly. But muscular, this is not. First of all. This is the only other major role that I know Jim for is muscular for My Hero. Muscular, this is not. But I have to agree with a lot of things that have been said already. It's very, very much Siri, like a male Siri, like, balance, unlimited. It's like, it's almost, I can't believe I'm fucking saying this because it's me. It's almost the level of AI read me the phone book levels here, if that makes sense.
Are you joking?
It's weird.
Steph has found a read me the phone book
Andrew,
person, and it is a
Andrew,
computer.
you know what you have to do now. Next time you see Steph, you have to talk to her in a really smooth robot voice.
Please, no, don't do that. But I'm sorry, Gigi, what were you saying?
I believe I can comply with that.
No.
Just get auto-tune on your phone. Get that thing that Little John had, or the Yin Yang Twins, where you talk into it and it auto-tunes your voice.
Oh, Christ.
I can't believe you finally found a read the phone book guy.
No, I'm not saying
robot.
this is a read the phone book guy. It's just what it's reminding me of right now.
I would be
If that fucking makes sense.
I would be happy to read to you aloud, my lady.
Oh, God.
She didn't say
now what
you.
have
She
I
said
done?
abuse.
What have I fucking
Go
done?
read your Rolodex, Andrew.
With pleasure, you fucking bitch.
Guess what a Rolodex is? A phone book.
With all due respect, madam, please eat my entire ass. Fuck off.
Get bent.
Love you too, Jude.
I'm so happy the four of us are covering this show together. It's great.
Have you noticed that I only chime in when I get irritated and want to yell at Andrew? I don't feel good, ladies and gentlemen. I've been sitting here for 2 hours.
Anyway, trying to rein it back in on myself. Jim Ferranda is nice male Siri voice, and it's fun, and I like it. Michelle Suzue. It's really interesting the direction this character went very early on. We initially meet her as she's undercover in one of the cases that Kato and Daisuke take part in. And fucking she is seen as this beautiful woman who kind of gives off maybe that femme fatale vibe. And then they go in a completely different direction with it. And this is where the character of Suzue herself kind of loses me a little bit. She's very obsessed with Daisuke. Like, not like not to the point of like yandere levels.
Okay, to be fair, I don't think it is ever at any point implied she wants to like jump his bones or anything.
No. But obsessed in the way of like his well-being and all this fun shit. It's like, and I think that's where I think Michelle shines a bit more, is those crazy moments. Again, we keep bringing up episode 4, where she's fucking like sitting there, like having no sleep and just waiting for Daisuke to come home. Like, Master Daisuke, what are we gonna do? And Grandma's like, bitch, calm the fuck down. Basically, but in a nice grandma way. Just because Suzume has a little bit of like an obsessed mindset about Daisuke's well-being doesn't mean she also does not have her badass moments too, because she fucking goes up against Shigemaru Kanbei when he invades the house to basically go and murder Cho and Takei. So she has her moments of badassery too, and I think Michelle is a lot of fun portraying this character, and I just love it. But yeah, my favorite moments are whenever she's like freaking the fuck out over Daisuke, and it's great. Gigi.
Just like everybody else said about Jim Ferranda playing Hughes, I wish my Siri would sound like this, because then I wouldn't want to smash my phone every time Siri accidentally comes on. I really would enjoy a pleasant computer voice telling me that I have money constantly. I think that would be a fun activity for everyone, maybe myself. So I'm just going to link that to my bank account and like be happy every time I check it when I really have $1 in there. And then it will tell me balance unlimited. And I'll be like, yes, thank you.
Yes. More figures, please.
Yeah. More stuff. Mama needs a house. Anyways, so like I think I found that I really like Michelle Rojas a lot lately. She really just sounds very pleasant in this anime. Like, I like to listen to her. She doesn't have any weird like vocal inflections or anything that like make me not want to listen anymore, because you know some people, they have like certain vocal inflections that I don't really care for, that don't sound pleasing to my ear. But Michelle, like, Suzume sounded very professional and a lot of unflustered most of the time, except in the episodes that everyone has already mentioned.
Except for episode 4, which we all love so fucking much.
Exactly.
It's the most like low stake, but also like the best character development stuff.
Yes.
Hey man, I'm still confused about that dog in the end. Did he really buy that little shit a new dog?
Yeah.
He did, because he bought the little shit a new dog only because his actual dog got run over.
Should have just paid the dog's hospital bill. That probably would have cost more than a new dog. Would have made people happier.
I mean, if the dog was dead, he would have had to make a homunculus dog, and we know how well that goes.
How do you know the dog was dead? Was it on Did the Dog Die?
Yes, they said the dog died.
They said the dog died.
Oh.
The dog died by getting hit by a car when he ran out into the street.
I just heard hit by a car. Clearly, I wasn't paying attention at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he could bring the dog back, but we're not going full on Oculus here. So.
Look, it's either if you want to go another direction, the dog didn't die. He got isekai'd to a better world.
God damn it. Anyway.
Yep. So I liked Michelle Rojas a lot. I liked Jim Ferranda a lot. And I am kind of sad that the whole anime I was waiting for Daisuke to be a thirsty motherfucker, and he ended up in a thirsty motherfucking position with his possible cousin. And I was very sad by that. The memes were all lies.
If anybody's thirsty for Suzume, it's fucking Kato.
I mean, everybody can be thirsty for Suzume. It's fine. But I was told that this would be Juman Han levels of daddy. And again, it was with his possible cousin.
Or sister, or whatever.
Relative.
This ain't Nakaimo. She's not his sister, because he was never in those pictures with his mom and dad.
Yeah, we can at least infer that Suzume is probably not a sister, more than likely.
My Suzume is among them.
Oh Jesus H. Christ.
Let's talk about some daddies so I can go lay in my bed and cry.
Andrew, you fucker. Alright. The moment we've all been waiting for. These two assholes. Our lead characters. So, Daisuke Kame and Haru Kato. Kato used to be a member of the 1st Division of the Metropolitan Police, but after an incident, and, PTSD is a fucking thing that happens, I guess, in this show, he's demoted to Modern Crimes Unit, where eventually he meets Daisuke, and Daisuke is the assumed to be heir to the Kame family. He has fucking loads of cash, and will buy off anything and anyone to get his way. But, of course, as we have discussed a lot, his motives for joining the Metropolitan Police are to solve the mystery of his mother's murder that happened, what he kept saying, 19 years ago? Alright. The voices of these two individuals. As Haru Kato, we have Rigo Fajardo, who has voiced characters such as Itana Horibe from Assassination Classroom, Leon Luis from Garo the Animation, and Daisuke Shima from Star Blazers 2199 and 2202. Kanbei. I am excited about this one. It's been 3 fucking years. And this is the other reason why I really wanted to have this group back together for this show in particular. Daisuke Kanbei is voiced by Mr. Adam Rowe, who has voiced characters such as Harris in Aoi Sakai no Kyushin-dei, the Lone Shark from The Day I Became a God, and Blonde Space Dandy, Grayville de Blua from Gosick. Which, realistically speaking, Grayville is the only other main, named character that Adam had to date up until this point. Gigi, I'm gonna let you go first.
Are you?
Do you not want me to?
You can. All right, children. Andrew.
Hi.
I'm going to say this because, and I will preface this after. Well, that wouldn't even be a preface. That would be like an afterthought. Mm-hmm. The first thing I said to these bitches in the chat was, y'all ever seen that TV show called Dragnet? To which they hadn't.
Yep.
So I had to bust out an episode of Dragnet for these bitches.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Adam Rowe sounds exactly like the guy from Dragnet in this role. Not the one that sounds like Inspector Gadget. That's different. I think his name, I just fucking Googled him and I forgot it, is Jack Webb. Jack Webb is the guy. Now, you'll find this funny because this is a fucking detective and procedural old cop show that, maybe your great-grandparents used to watch. I only know it because it was on, a thing that Chris made me watch. And I was like, yeah, I know this. Anyway, long story short. Fucking Adam Rowe sounds like the dude from Dragnet. And I didn't know that Cliff was directing this show at first. So my first thought was, wow, they really cast this well because this dumb detective is played by somebody who sounds like the guy from fucking Dragnet. And then I was like, oh, wait, it's Cliff Chapin's best friend. Okay. It makes slightly more sense now, but I'm going to take it as for somebody who didn't know that this is the fucking guy from Dragnet. All right.
As a slight reminder, not to cut you off, as a slight reminder, if you're new here and you did not see the Gosick episode, slight background, Adam has known Cliff for a very long time, since they were kids. They were both from Connecticut, and yeah, Adam basically moved this year to Dallas. Bottom line. You're good.
So, me, I did not watch Japanese for this. Again, was expecting a Jumanhan motherfucker coming out of here. Jumanhan is voiced in Korean. So I don't know. I was kind of expecting a Junichi Suwabe voice to come out of there. And this was really dry and really American. And I was like, okay. It's more dry than I was expecting and not the daddy I was looking for, but it definitely matched the tone of the character very well, especially after episode 4 when we find out that Kambe's a fucking dumbass. And he is like that Japanese trope where the super hot, smart, rich, whatever guy is total like...
He has no street smarts.
He has zero street smarts.
He has zero street smarts. And I was like, oh, this was the trope they were going for. And once I saw that trope in action, I got it even more. And I was like, so we are talking, like literally we're talking about Inspector Gadget, like with the gadgets. Like it even works if you put in the other guy from that other cop procedural, which I still think was possibly Dragnet. I don't know at this point. I'm not up on old television shows. I think the furthest I go back is St. Elsewhere, and that's only because that ending was a total fucking garbage fire. And if you know anything, all right, I'm done talking about obscure TV shows.
Thank you, though. That was actually really interesting.
Oh, do you want to know about the ending of St. Elsewhere? Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Honestly,
I spent a year and a half watching that show on streaming.
You know what? Honestly, we're here already. You have 2 minutes. I want to hear the rage.
St. Elsewhere is a medical drama, much like Grey's Anatomy, but it took place, I think, in the late 70s or early 80s. It's got 80s hair in there. That's all that I remember. Anyway, it's went on for like 5 seasons. And the very last episode of the very last season, it turned out the entire thing was some kid's fucking fever dream because he looked in a snow globe and saw the St. Elsewhere hospital, and all of these characters and all of their lives and all of their drama was taking place in his head.
Yep. I never saw the actual show, but I watched some video with like weird twists and shit, and that one came up, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck,
man?
Yeah, and because I'd watched.
I had not heard of the show, but I do know that twist.
I've heard of the twist, actually. Yeah, fuck. Wow.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I get for running out of episodes of Grey's Anatomy to watch, so I had to go back in time and watch a different medical drama. This is my Anyways, that aside, I did enjoy Adam Rowe here once I realized what they were going for, and I was like, okay, this is different and I'm digging it. So that's cool. Rico Fajardo, he's my new, I always seem to know who this voice is, but I can't think of the name of the actor who plays him. And that was this guy, and I was like, I know him. I should know him.
Didn't you have something
really
similar
well.
with actors too?
Yes.
You had a similar situation with Rico when we were doing actors.
Granted, of what little I've seen of actors, I can believe being fooled by that one.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I know him. Who is that? Oh my God. That's not Alejandro, but it kind of sounds like him. Who the fuck is that? I know him. I like him. Yeah, it's fucking Rico Fajardo. Of course it is. Of course
I can't place it. Wait.
He made a good straight man here. I really loved the back and forth with Kame, especially in the dog episode, as I'm now calling it.
You would be correct.
Yeah, I love Rico Fajardo and everything that he does. This is no exception. So I like the buddy cop dynamic that they had. I mean, you guys are all saying Batman and Robin, but like Daisuke ain't no Batman. Let's be real. Like, this is a cop show.
Daisuke has the money like Batman, though.
I mean, Daisuke has Batman money, but Daisuke doesn't have Batman smarts.
Okay, you are
fair.
right.
Daisuke,
no.
Yeah, I also don't believe he is as much of a philanthropist. So
he doesn't seem quite as generous.
No,
that's why there's
he's generous, but for the wrong reasons.
That's why there's some discussions about eating the rich tonight.
To sum up, I really liked their performances. I am not telling all you kids to go watch Dragnet because why would I put that on you? But just like look it up on YouTube and watch the first 40 seconds of any episode and you'll get exactly what I'm hearing.
She linked yesterday an episode of Dragnet for us because she was like, I want to make a joke about it. Do you guys know what Dragnet is? And again, we were like, no. She linked us an episode. She's like, just watch the first 40 seconds. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hear it. Jett, how about you go next with your thoughts on these performances?
Okay, so I'll start with Rico as Kato. Like Gigi was saying, I found a voice really familiar, but I couldn't quite place it at the beginning since it'd been a little bit since I heard Rico as a lead in something. And I look and then at the end credits, I was like, oh yeah, of course that was Rico. But yeah, I really enjoyed him here. I thought he had like the right level of earnesty coming from his tone that made him seem like he always wanted to do the right thing, and he was like a very by the book cop. I also kind of appreciated that he just sounded like a bit of a dork all the time. Like I actually got a good kick out of his bit in episode 2, where he's like running all over the place trying to one up Daisuke, and everyone's like, "Man, you really need to go take a shower."
Yes. Like, bro, what is wrong with you?
And even Suzuki is like, before you leave, like, perhaps you want to take a shower.
Do you want dinner? Do you need a bath? Like, everybody's trying not to be rude, with the exception of Daisuke, of course. He's just like, what the fuck do you want? It's great.
But yeah, I also thought he had like really good chemistry with Adam Bros Kanbei. I thought they bounced off of each other pretty well. So I definitely say like one of personal highlights of his performance for me was probably like during the flashback after he like shot up the civilian and he didn't really like want to be a cop anymore. I thought I thought Rico had sold like all the like shock and devastation he was going through in that moment and kind of afterwards. Mm-hmm. I thought his delivery there was really good. It was probably like his strongest moment in the show, and I really liked his delivery there. He was just consistent. He was just consistent all across the board. Like, I mean, it's Rico. He's very good at what he does. Adabro is Kanbei, so it's been a while since I heard Adabro in anything, and I'd still probably associate him with the most is Inspector Pompadour from Yosek. Like I know that
you called him Inspector Pompadour.
Okay. I know that character has a name, but I don't remember it, so he's just Inspector Pompadour to me.
That's what it was. You called him Inspector Pompadour, like I think the whole time. And Gigi made a crack about him being blonde space dandy.
I mean that would also apply, but yeah. I remember being kind of mixed on him in that show, and I kind of feel the same way here too a little bit. I thought he sounded like maybe a little flat in the first episode for like his first couple of line reads, where I thought he was like where maybe he hadn't like so totally figured out the character yet. Mm-hmm. And I thought he got a little better throughout the episode, but I thought he was like a little weak there in the beginning. Okay. I definitely thought his delivery got a little bit stronger over time. I liked him in episode 3 where like he and Kanto or like on the train doing like the kid who's like who's like pretending to hold people hostage. Which the way that whole thing resolved was just like probably one of the most hilariously ridiculous things in the show.
Okay, actually, you know what? I forgot about that.
Especially that like all the idea that like all the old ladies on the train are just like idle stands was amazing.
They they were basically great. Like one of their favorite groups was retiring, and they're basically like, you know what? We have to go see them, even if it costs them our lives. So they rush a fucking active gunman with like a fucking chant. Yep. And then
Dude, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Listen, you don't diss the Idol fans.
And then they just showed
run
up.
You down.
And then he just paid for them to show up and perform for them. Yes. And then it was just like a magical moment. And it's like, oh yeah, our lives were in danger.
It's fucking great.
Oh, that was amazing.
Fucking great. I want more shit like that, please.
I'm 58 years old. I've lived a life to the best of my ability. I'm gonna see my favorite group off one last time, even if it fucking kills me. Like, I almost applaud that level of, like, confidence.
Oh, that's great.
That was amazing. But I really liked his delivery in that episode where he kind of like trusts Kanso's instincts that the perp won't shoot them, and I thought it showed like that Kame had like maybe a little bit of a softer side deep down. Mm-hmm. And so I thought his line delivery like throughout the entire show could be kind of like a little uneven at times. Like there were some times where it really worked for me, and other times where it sounded like maybe a little flatter than I would have liked.
So maybe there was a little lack of consistency in the performance, is what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. My personal highlight for him was probably like it was probably like in episode 10 where like Kanto's like that where Kanto's still like kind of having his whole PSCD thing and
Mm-hmm.
so, and like he tells Kanto that like that he's still a hero and I thought that okay that was maybe like the most emotion we ever really get out of comedy throughout the entire show and
Yep.
well I thought it could have been like a little stronger I thought it was probably like the best Adam sounded. I mean, like on the whole, I thought that whenever he like really needed to emote, it didn't quite click for me. But whenever he was trying to make Daisuke sound like smooth, or maybe like he was like really angry about something, I thought it worked pretty well. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like on the whole, it was like I thought on the whole was like I didn't. Yeah, on the whole was like I didn't like seriously dislike the performance or anything, but I thought it could have been like a little stronger than what we actually got here.
Okay.
To be fair, I watched the show in Japanese up through like episode 9, I think, and I remember not caring that much for the same performance either. So it's not just Adam, but like.
So it might be an issue of the character too, might be giving him trouble.
Not the character necessarily. It's just not the character necessarily. It's just like okay, I didn't really. The performance didn't wow me in either version personally, but it's just like
Okay.
yeah, I kind of wish it was maybe a little stronger.
Another thing
Gotcha.
I would also note about the Japanese version is I believe Yusuke Oniki, his seiyuu, also this was like his very first anime performance as well too.
You would be
Yep,
correct
it
because you would be correct because I looked at this too real briefly earlier. Oniki, he's more known for theatrical performances, stage performances, and some TV dramas. And gee,
that is actually really appropriate. Boy, that is actually appropriate.
Because I missed this part in the minor catch up on who the hell Adam Rowe is. Adam Rowe's background is a theater background.
Oh shit, you're right. Wow. Huh.
I forgot that portion. So, la-di fucking da. Are you all set, Andrew?
Art imitates art.
I'm not Andrew.
Imitates
Jett.
art. Hey,
gosh.
it's cool. Hey, Jett. How you doing, Andrew?
All right, Andrew.
Before
The Andrew that's actually canceled.
before the
Can you give
canceled
us your
Andrew talks, two things. One, Gigi's Seiyu Corner is that Haru is played by Mamoru Miyano. What up?
Yes.
Two,
Yeah, Mamoru Miyano's got
I misspoke when I was talking about Saint Elsewhere, so before people at me in the comments,
Okay.
It is not a kid's fever dream. It is in the imagination of an autistic boy. So I apologize. That is the real information.
Gotcha.
Thank you for your correction, but boy, that's still strange.
Welcome to the 80s.
Now for Andrew, who is canceled. Can you give us your thoughts on these performances?
Okay, so first things first. I think Rico Fajardo does a great job playing like this kind of like he's straight-laced, but he's also a little bit eccentric and also like easy to piss off. And I think Rico does a great job making Haru sound really like pissed off and like I don't want to deal with your bullshit today. We're doing this by the books. Also help me God. I ain't dealing with your magic muddy shit.
Yep.
But I think he does a good job and gives him like this level of sincerity and earnesty that I think really comes across with Haru, making him this really good, really like loyal to justice law enforcement guy. You can tell also he really has dealt with a lot in regards to loss, in regards to his trauma on the field, and it comes across. I think Haru's a really fun character that complements Daisuke Kame really well. And I think Rico does a fantastic job making him like relatable, making him honest, making him a really determined, passionate character. Also making him sound really funny. Like, I love when he gets drunk and he's like, oh, I'm not eating this shit. Like, this, I only eat the high-grade stuff. It's like, all right, motherfucker, you want a family recipe? Here, this is on the cheap side. Fucking take it. But yeah, no, I think Rico, like, he's fantastic as Haru. He's delightful. He's not, like, as crazy as I've heard Rico go, but he's exactly what Haru called for, and he's amazing. And I do agree. I think Rico does a great job as Haru, and I kind of agree with you. I think he is the best boy. Because Daisuke's hot. Nobody's gonna deny that Daisuke Kame ain't fucking hot. But all I'm going to say is I am very firm in my stance of eat the rich, not eat out the rich.
Andrew! Just
saying.
Daisuke's not a girl. That's not how this works.
Look, all I'm saying is there's dojins. There's an ass for a reason.
Oh my god, why?
Anyways, now that I have alleviated the tension, I will also say I definitely think Adam Rowe is a little rough in the beginning as well. I do think that he does a fine job at the start, but it's definitely a little more straight-laced than I was expecting at the start. That being said, I will also say I think he grows into the role of Kanbei very quickly, and I will definitely say by like episode 3, episode 4, he's got a very strong comprehension of what Kanbei needs to be, which is this very authoritative, authoritative, strong guy who's very much, his strength comes in play where he tries to be cool. He tries everything in his power to be cool, but he also is kind of lame. And I think he's at his most relatable and endearing when he's fucking lame.
Yes.
Also,
I can agree with that.
Also, I personally think he looks better with his hair down, but that's just not, it's me talking from aesthetic and not coming from a place of thirsty.
It's fine, you're wrong.
It's fine, you're wrong.
Sure, Gigi, whatever. Okay. But yeah, no, I think Adam definitely comes across, and I think he definitely does a good job making his passion for trying to solve the case of his mother really come through. He gets some really good angry outbursts and gets some really impressive, like, dramatic moments and action scenes. I think Adam really does grow into it, but I think there are enough weird, like, flatter reads throughout that I think should definitely be corrected. But I think...
So, again, consistency is an issue.
I think that the thing is he does a good job, and he does get the character of Kanbei, but I think, yeah, it's another thing where it's like, I think it's a fine job, but I think it is a little more inconsistent than what I'm used to. But I think Adam does really do a fine job. It's the first time I've really heard him in a major role in several years, and I think he does make a pretty good impression. I definitely think if he fine-tunes his craft, like, he's going to definitely be somebody to keep an eye out for. I think he's great, but I'm not 100% convinced that he's perfect for the role. But I definitely think he works for it. He works for it, and he definitely really makes it.
Thankfully, I'm the only one left. I'm gonna also start with Rico. Kato... Fucking hell. Kato is definitely the straight man of the whole show. Not just with his dynamic with Daisuke, but in general. And Rico as the straight man is fun, and it's very enjoyable. But I also will say I love the moral and ethical aspects to Kato's belief in what justice is to him, because he doesn't just pull that on Daisuke, he pulled it on Cho as well, actually. So it's not just a one-note thing. He's not just like it's not just what the fuck you doing, you can't just do shit with money. He pulled it on Cho too when Cho was playing the dirty cop with the female exec halfway through the show, and so you can see Kato's strong sense of justice, and Rico pulls that off very well. Rico also, I think, does rather well with the whole PTSD aspect of Kato's character as well, because PTSD can be a struggle. It's not an easy thing to overcome. Granted, with the magic of fucking television, I guess, Kato overcame it in one fell swoop, but, anyway, but, that's not the point. Like, there are multiple facets to Kato's character. The straight man, his ideals of justice, his internal conflict with PTSD, and all this fun stuff. that I think Rico does very well encapsulating with this character. And definitely his banter with Adam is just the highlight of the show for me. Is any little quips and back and forth between the two of them is just so much fucking fun. I've been waiting 3 years.
Your time is now, Stephanie.
I've been waiting 3 years to see Adam Rowe come back. Because so yesterday I did extra homework to myself. I did it to myself. I watched the portion of our Ghostic episode where we specifically discussed Adam's performance as Grayville, and I also watched a handful of episodes from Ghostic because it had been 3 years since I even watched the damn show. And I specifically tried to find episodes where Grayville was very prevalent, just to refresh my memory on that performance and how it sounded. And I do specifically remember in the Ghostic episode that I saw potential in Adam, and I also gave him my Voice Actor to Watch award in the W's that same fucking year. Motherfucker, it's been 3 years, about damn time. First of all. But more importantly, with the portrayal of Kame here, I do have to agree that in the first episode, some of the early line reads were very, very rough, kind of rough around the edges, and it took a little bit to get into. For me, by the end of the first episode, I really got into it a bit more, especially with how extra of a character Kame is, and how just nonchalant Adam's portrayal was of the character. Like, yeah, I do this all the time. Fuck it. And granted, this is the most excitement he's seen in a long-ass time, because before this, he was fucking bored. And then he got Husk, and then he was like, oh shit, I can do things. But definitely, it took a little bit of time for me to really get more invested in Adam's portrayal of Kame. And I also have to agree that there were some line reads that seemed a bit more flat than others. So there is, I think, the performance overall has a little bit of a consistency problem. However, I think when Daisuke starts to gain a bit more emotion, I guess is the best way of putting this, gains a bit more emotion, and he's not just this stoic character, and he starts kind of, he gets more time with these characters, especially Kato. He develops a bit more in terms of personality, and you can see bits of that shine through with Adam. When he gets angry, he got angry at Suzue, which was great. I agree with Jett. The biggest impact that Adam had was towards the end, where he tells Kato, "You're not a civil servant. You are a hero. You've never been a civil servant." And that kind of just snaps Kato out of it. And also, god damn it, we're bringing this up again. So after Kato's a dumbass and accidentally hits the button to transfer all of the files for Adolium, and Suzue tells Daisuke, is like, yeah, Mr. Kato pressed the button by accident. That's the first and probably only time in the entire show that Daisuke laughs, and I got a kick out of it. So overall, there are parts of the performance that are a little rough around the edges, and may not be 100, it's not a 100% consistent performance. However, I fucking love this extra motherfucker Daisuke Kame. He doesn't give a fuck. And in terms of characters, Daisuke is my favorite because he's just a dumbass, and I love my stupid dumbasses sometimes. But I'm very happy to see that Adam has finally made the move to Dallas, and I can only hope to see him in many more things. That being said, let's move on to final thoughts for The Millionaire Detective, Balance Unlimited. Jett, can you please go first? Please.
Sure, I'll be pretty quick with this. Yeah, this was a pretty solid dub for the most part. again, like Clifford is very reliable on that end, and while this isn't like one of his best dubs, it is certainly solid. There, aside from like some minor nitpicks, there isn't anything here I would really like that I would really like grind at too much, and on the whole, I really liked it.
Mhm.
And the show itself is like a perfectly adequate buddy cop thing. Like I kind of liked it better when it was just kind of a keeper of the week story, and not so much when it like had an actual plot.
Mhm.
I mean, like it was fine for the most part, but it was also kind of predictable, so I couldn't really get all that invested in it.
Okay.
Yeah, but for the most part, this is a perfectly fine show, even if it's kind of a middle of the road thing. So, yeah, if you just want like a solid, good buddy cop show to watch, like Cold Afternoon, this is a perfectly fine show.
Okay. Gigi, your final thoughts.
I mean, coming off Nakaimo, this is such a breath of fresh air. Like I said before,
Thank
like
God.
that thing was so goddamn horrid, and it was nice to hear like a really well written, well directed, well put together, and well acted dub. So for that, I'm grateful. I just agree with all these guys with all the parts that they say that Adam Rowe is dry sounding. I think that's like an aesthetic choice. They need to watch more Dragnet. It's fine. Actually, don't. I'm pretty sure it's boring and old and doesn't hold up to the test of time.
Gigi,
But
I've watched a lot
just-
of different like cop dramas and stuff for work over the past year. I'm more than happy to like do some research of old stuff. It's fine.
Anyway.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. It really made me want to go watch Case Closed, which I don't know what that's saying about my life, but I won't watch it unless it's dubbed, and I can't stream it anywhere. So thanks, Funimation, for dropping that. But that's fine. I'm not bitter or anything. I mean, whatever. Not saying that Case Closed is a better or worse dub than this, but I just wanted something kind of floofy. And then when it got like not so floofy, I got not so interested. But the show's still fine. I really liked the OP, and it was a solid dub.
It's a banger.
It is
The
a
OP is
banger.
a banger. Love it. You cannot skip it.
OP
Ever.
is-
And
No,
if you skip it, you're a fucking liar.
I kind of prefer the ED, honestly.
I will.
The ED is also
The
good.
ED is very good,
Yes.
and for some reason, nobody ever seems to back me up on this. It sounds like a System of a Down song to me.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Okay, cool. Somebody else sees it. Thank you, Chad. I love you, buddy.
No. Still canceled. It's fine.
Look, I'm okay with being canceled as long as somebody else agrees with my point of view.
Speaking of canceled, Andrew.
Okay.
Your final
So-
thoughts, please. And I love you. Please don't ramble. Please be brief.
This is a good show, but I don't think it's a great one. I think it's pretty good, but I think it kind of disappointed me a little once it became a little more of a serious drama, which I think it was fine at, but I don't think those were the strengths it really excelled at, or really what made me attached to it. I think the dub is pretty good with a couple of notably standout performances. I was especially impressed with the likes of Rico and Kent Williams in particular. I think that it's a pretty good dub. It is definitely worth a watch. It's very entertaining, very well done. Give it a watch. Check it out. You'll have a fun time. And also, goddammit, Daisuke Kanbe's theme song is fucking great!
Yes. The smooth fucking jazz. It's yes. Anyway. The show itself, Millionaire Detective, is fun. It's not a 100% out of this world fantastic show, because we all fucking agree. We rather would have watched the horseshit weekly, like, crime antics that these two idiots get into. So, if a season 2 were to happen, please make it just that. Okay, thanks. But, in terms of the dub, it's very solid, honestly. It's well directed, it's well written, it is well cast and acted. There are some minor hiccups, maybe, here and there. I have to agree with Jett. It's not my absolute favorite Clifford Chapin dub, if you can fucking believe it. I just think there are stronger ones in his repertoire that he's done. But that's not to say this one's awful. This one is very good. That says a lot. And my favorite thing again is the dynamic banter between Daisuke and Kato, Adam and Rico, and overall it's just a fun time. It's just a stupid fun time, and I love it. And now I'm tempted to go fucking pre-order a Kanbei Nendo because that's a thing that exists.
That
Just
doesn't
because I
surprise me.
can.
Did I pre-order a Kanbei Nendo?
But no, such a fun show. The dub is so much fun. Please go give it a watch if you have a few, like 5-6 hours. It's only 11 episodes actually, so it's a really quick binge that you can go through. And if you're interested in seeing The Millionaire Detective Balance Unlimited, the only place you can watch it currently at the time of this recording is through Funimation. Both the Japanese and the English dub. I double checked all the other sources. It's not on Hulu. No, it's not on Netflix. No, it's not on Crunchyroll. Funimation's the only place where you can watch this. And at the time of this recording, a home video release has not been announced, though I imagine it will be forthcoming, and I'm very curious to see the route it's going to take. Is it going to go the Demon Slayer route, or is it going to be a completely different thing entirely? But I digress. If you're interested in seeing Dub Talk and anything else that we do, if you are currently on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. We put out new videos every week. And if you are listening to us on the go through either Podbean, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, please follow us as well, so you can get episodes from us all the goddamn time. You can follow us on Twitter at dubtalkpodcast as well. And we have, if you want to further support us in a different capacity, we have our Ko-fi account, and we also have our Patreon, both of which are Dub Talk Podcast. And speaking of Patreon, we of course have to thank our patrons. We have Michelle Travis, Miraculous Corazon, Nico Robinbell with Yowie Hands, Victor Mayborda, Megan's mom and dad. We love Megan's mom and dad around here. Carly Lesticow, Crimson Echidna, Jacob Wilson, J2 aka Jared, Marissa Lenti, and Otaku Anthony. As for anything that the four of us weird ass, dumbass people do, wow, my train of thought is gone. My name is Stephanie, I think. I don't know anymore. Sometimes I'm known as Lilac, though. You can follow me on Twitter at Lilac Anime Review, with review being spelled R-E-V-U-E. I also have a blog, lifeandtimesotaku.wordpress.com, and I also do photography and sell prints, Stephanie's Snapshot Garden, if anyone is interested. If you are interested in anything that Jett does, you can follow him on Twitter at Divine Nega. He also... You write blog things, right? I can't remember the name of the freaking blog. I'm sorry.
Animation Infinity.
Thank you. My brain is dying. What is wrong
We're
with
almost
me?
at the finish line. You got this.
It's fine. I understand we're all tired.
And you can also catch Jett on Surreal Resolutions podcast ONA alongside Andrew, of course. Gigi, you can follow her on Twitter at Animepalooza. She also has a YouTube channel, Animepalooza, where she does unboxings and a bunch of Ood Appreciating Live videos and all this fun stuff. And then we have Andrew, who is still canceled. Yeah. You can follow him on Twitter at MangaMan9000. He is also a moderator on the Funimation Discord, and as previously mentioned, he is also a co-host on podcast ONA. My brain is dying. Oh, what the one other quick thing of note. I said this earlier. I'm going to say it again. Special thank you for Clifford Chapin for confirmation of 3 characters in this show, because I didn't want to skip them because they are integral to the actual plot. So thank you very much to you for help with that. And on that note, I think that is it. I think we're done.
Yeah.
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 Hey, everybody, take some time out of your day today to tell somebody that you love, or maybe that you haven't spoken to in a very long time, that you love them and that you give a shit. From personal experience, y'all should take 20 seconds out of your day and do that today.
Absolutely.
Yes. Please do. Tell someone you love them and that you care about them today.
And I'll say this much.
All right.
I love all of you guys. I know kind of been being a little obnoxious and making jokes and stuff, but honestly,
A little.
legit, I kind of mostly just do a character a lot of the times, and I genuinely am always really happy to talk to you guys and be there for you. Like, yeah.
Same.
Dog gay.
Yeah.
Even if
I'm
I
the most
cancel
gay for
you, I
you,
still
Steph.
love you.
I
Oh
know
my
you're the most gay
gosh.
for me. I know you're the most gay for me. It's disgusting.
I know, it's gross. But yeah, I think there's only one thing that can end this episode now.
Oh god.
Ba
what?
ba be da 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 da. Ba, da, 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 da. I don't actually know how a theme song goes. I just know it's yeah da 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 yeah da 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 yeah da da da.
Are you even doing the opening or the ending?
I'm
can't
trying
tell
to do
what-
Daisuke's theme
It
okay,
sounds
song.
like you're
That's
humming the
his
theme
theme.
song to the fucking Donna Reed show. Or maybe Dick Van Dyke.
Thank you, Jett.
I fucking quit. I'm going to bed.
As we all should.
Good.
Thank you guys for, if you made it to the end of this, thank you guys for listening and or watching. We fucking love you all. Have a good night. And of course, as always, otaku on, my friends.
Good night.
Love your faces.
Otaku on.
Night.
And I wish my balance was unlimited.
Yes. Yes, and talk a lot. And remember, the Talk podcast does not endorse capitalism or the police. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good night, everybody.
God damn it. Why does this go politics all the fucking time? I hate you all. Good night.
Welcome